Well, hi.
Hello.
That was
We're
really
back.
difficult.
Yeah,
That was professional. I
that
like
was very.
I tried so hard.
Yeah, but you started laughing, and then I wanted to start laughing.
Expecting us to be serious and professional at this point just seems like setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's
mean,
not
how
your fault,
possibly
Ashlow.
Have you
You're
seen the
setting
last 3 episodes? I mean,
I might put that long pause in the edit as well.
please do.
Long, awkward pause.
If that doesn't let people know exactly what they're signing up for, I don't know what will.
Yeah, true.
All right. So, how's it going, guys? This is episode 5?
30.
30?
35?
32 and a half.
32. We're Route 66, and let's see. Where did you? We do. Where did you guys leave off?
Outside the tower.
We're getting ready to stalk that guy to see where he goes.
Well, let's see. Let's recap a little bit. So you guys are a group of adventurers for different reasons. A group of adventurers and one retired old crank who have gathered in the village of Hummelbank for different reasons. You don't have a lot of money to your name. Some of you have had issues with bandits, ogres, breakfast. Some of you have something specific that you're looking for. Others are just looking for purpose.
That special something.
Yeah. Unfortunately, your first day in Hummelbank was kind of interrupted by a little bit of the dramatic. There was a murder. And as most of you ended up being persons of interest, it became in your best interest to investigate this case. You did so, recruiting the help of 2 curious, I can't call you do-gooders, but plus ones. You were able to prove that you didn't do it. You tracked down a suspicious person who may or may not have done it, and after a substantial amount of danger in the Druid's Grove of Hummelbank, you drove this person off.
Not intentionally.
With barely your lives left to you in some cases. Some of you were doing just fine. Others, Junko.
She's okay.
Fine. It was but a flesh wound.
After this, you reported what you had found to the local authorities, being Rutger, a retired fighter of some past conflict, and Byrne, a wizard and former pupil to Maester Dracon. The news was well received, and you were basically given some assurances that there could be future work for you. You were also given sort of, not quite ownership, stewardship. You were given stewardship over the now untended Druid's Grove, and asked to explain the situation to Brother Smythe, the only other ranking druid in town. You did so, but you also mentioned maybe a bit of cloak and dagger spy work that probably might have been better left unsaid, causing Brother Smythe to kind of detach from the situation, panic a little bit. It's very tenuous now. It's not certain if he's going to stay for too long. It is unlikely that he is going to retain the Druid's Grove for you, even if you maintain it, though, at least for too long. Leaving a new problem. You know that there are the Druids of the Noctis Wood, I believe I called it.
Yeah.
You know that the Druids' circle in that forest could help, but you also know that it would be tremendously dangerous to go out there. And you know that it is likely there is a... Oh god, I just brain farted on the name of the tree. Gulthias tree? Somewhere out there.
That's right.
This is why we need to play weekly instead of bi-weekly. This is killing me. All these names that I didn't write down like a good DM. So you have this problem that you've been working on. More close to home, you also know that there are likely spies of the old Temple of Elemental Sin who are operating even now in Hummelbank. And in an endeavor to maybe catch one of these spies in the act and maybe win a little bit of a bounty, you investigated another traveler, Zethwith Beringerson the Dwarf. Kind of shockingly, you actually found some evidence maybe connecting him to the cult. He denied it, of course, so you took him into Rutger and Byrne. Unfortunately, the church got involved as well, and smelling opportunity, Father Callamore is taking direct control over the spy situation and maybe the Druid's Grove. To stave off losing the entire momentum that you guys have gained, Byrne privately suggested a little idea to you. That maybe, instead of shipping Zethwith off to be executed on suspicion, you guys might enable him to lead you to a more fruitful capture. Even if it's maybe against the law. And so now you wait outside of Byrne's tower. It is dark. The hour is late. Everyone has gone off to sleep. And you have a prisoner to spring. What would you guys like to do?
I love how we were kind of like, yeah, just let's let him go and get executed. And it was you who was all like, maybe, you could follow him and we could spring him out, as done.
I mean, it was Byrne, it wasn't me. I think it's a terrible idea.
Yeah, so does it 3.
I actually left to get food to the inn.
Yeah, so
I went to get some dinner.
As I remember, some people stayed at the tower whilst others went to get.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
it was
Was
Cora and Elwyn, yeah.
And
I went.
yeah,
Ithri went. To
Thrithriel.
Okay. So, the inn crowd.
That's us.
Hello.
You make your way back into downtown. You can see that the inn is bustling. It's well lit. You can hear music coming from inside the tavern. Stepping inside, you can see... why am I having so much trouble with all the names? I'm sorry. You can see Osler.
Mr. Gundagoot?
Mr. Gundagoot.
Currently working, as well as his wife, who is now at the bar, while Osler seems to be ferrying plates of food, some kind of grilled fish with a very aromatic, spicy scent about. And there are a few serving boys and girls who are also working. What do you guys do?
Sorry, who is part of the inn crowd?
Me.
I know at least Cora and Elwyn went.
No, I stayed.
I'm
I'd already
pretty
eaten.
sure I only remember myself going, and that's
Yeah.
fine.
I was also going to go. So if it's
Oh,
just
you
the
were?
two of us,
Okay.
that's fine. I'd just say on the way in, I'd just say you went inside Sethwith's room. Does he have
Yeah.
any? I presume you left most of his stuff there. Does he have anything useful that would be useful for us to take with us, or did you not see that much?
He didn't have any weapons left in there, did he, Stilly?
Not in his room. Most of those were on his person.
It was mostly just like there was a journal and a bunch of dirty clothes. I think
I've
that
got
was
enough
pretty
there,
much it.
that's fine. All right.
So should we just get food and like head back? Get it to go?
Yeah, we should let Osler know that he can clear out Sethwith's room because he's going to be
Okay.
Execute. Do you want me to talk to Osler?
Will you do that? I'm gonna go
sure.
get something in my room really quick.
Okay. So yeah, I'll
Okay.
head over and chat to
I'll
Osler.
skedaddle to my room.
As you start to approach Osler, someone actually kind of bumps into you in the way, and you spill a little bit of beer down your front and down his front, and he kind of backs away from you. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you there. Oh, it's my friend.
Hey,
It's my
buddy.
friend. And it's
Is this the drunk guy?
it is. You would well, no. You know what? I don't need to repeat the name. You either know it or you don't. He looks like he's had a few. He smells like he's had a few. Now that you're up close and able to look at him properly, he's human. He's big, like maybe 6'5". He has a lot of. He's bulky. A lot of bulk to him. Though most of his clothes are very baggy, so it kind of makes it a little hard to like actually like you don't see muscle bulging out. He's just visibly large.
Hey, buddy. You alright?
My friend, I couldn't find you the other day. You said something about a job, right?
Whoa, that was a long time ago, and the job's been murdered. So I don't think that's going ahead anymore.
Oh no! Is that the
Yeah,
poor guy out front?
yeah, he was gonna give us some coin to do a bit of work, but
Oh, you got your work murdered. I just got that. He was the one who was gonna hire you.
yeah, he was. It's all a bit confusing. The stuff he was hiring us for wasn't real, apparently.
Oh no, that's
Then
terrible.
he died anyway. But these things happen.
Uh,
Hopefully, my next job will stay live enough long enough for me to get paid.
So you're working some more? Can I buy you a drink or something?
I'm in the middle of something right now. There's some business, but tomorrow I'll be back.
Yeah.
Meet me down here in the morning if you haven't got a hangover. We'll talk work.
Hangover?
If you
Me?
do have a hangover,
No. Come on.
afternoon will do. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. If
Good
I'm not
buddy.
working.
Yeah.
All right. You're all right. You have a good night.
You too, and drink responsibly.
Yeah.
I'll tell off to Osler.
Okay. Osler actually kind of he was very loud, so Osler was kind of watching, sort of a little amused. He has just finished handing out the food to a group of farmers, all kind of older grizzled men. He steps over to you. E3, my friend, can I help you with anything? You need a...
Hey Osler, is there a quiet corner that we can chat in?
Oh,
Just a
ooh,
little
yeah.
update.
He'll take you over
Presume we
to
go
him.
into the kitchen.
Yeah,
aren't we?
sure. Into the kitchen, that works.
And I'll say to him, so, Sethwith, bad news. I can't give you all the details, but there'll be more available in the morning. He is currently in a prison cell in Burns Tower or Rutgers Castle. I don't really know the... Yeah.
Right.
He's not going to be coming back. Not with his head on his shoulders. So if you want to clear his room and rent it out to someone else,
It's
you're
not the
welcome.
first time this sort of thing happens. I can get that cleaned up.
It might be worth just if there's anything in his room that you're unsure of or looks suspicious or interesting, give it to Rutger and Byrne. They might have an interest in it.
Sure.
But as far as Sethwith's concerned, tomorrow he's going to have his he's being taken somewhere to get. I'm not familiar with the local area, and I forgot where they said. But he's going to
Probably Vigor Mount, I would think.
Yeah, that was the one. So he's taken to Vigor Mount, and
Well, so much the shame, but it happens. We get all sorts in here. It's the nature of the business.
Indeed. Luckily, we managed to weed out some of the bads.
Yes, once again, it seems like I'm in your debt. The whole town is.
Not a problem.
It's good work. If I ever get something that comes along, should you be open to working for old Osler?
That would be great. We're actually looking for caravan work to try and figure out some bandit stuff.
Oh, you're in
but
the right
if you've got
place.
Yeah. If you got any other work, you just let me know.
Sure. The locals will take it well, knowing that there's reliable travelers back at the old Welcome Lady.
It would also be quite nice if you'd point out to any locals you're familiar with that not all outsiders are bad. I know that we're not welcomed here heartily, so hopefully spreading the news that some outsiders have done some good would maybe help that a little bit. I don't know.
I'll do what I can, but
The
to
only
be
other
honest,
thing you can do for me, buddy, is
seems
dinner
sure.
to take out.
Takeout.
Yeah, if that's okay.
Oh yeah, like a bag or something. Yeah, I can.
Yeah, just like I've got rations, but I was after like something nicer I can eat on foot. Some pie or something if you got it.
some shepherd's
Meat
pies.
For two.
Two.
I love pie.
You don't get any. You didn't want any.
Bring me a slice.
Nope.
And yeah, he'll get you a bag of some two shepherd's pies, and he'll throw in a half. It's a little on the dated side, but he'll throw in half a loaf of bread.
Yay, old bread.
Nice.
I mean, free is free.
Yeah.
Is it elven bread?
No, it distinctly is not. Cora, is there anything you wanted to cover in the meantime?
I go get a bucket and I fill it with water. I assume there's a well. If not,
Yes,
I'll ask.
there
his
is a
wife.
well out in the yard.
I'll ask his wife to help me. Oh, okay. Then I'll just get it myself.
Okay.
Just want to point out, if Cora's coming down the stairs, I'll be like, I've got you food, let's go, and just try and get her out the door as quick as possible without...
Well, I would be doing this while you were
Yeah.
talking to.
If
Yeah,
you went
yeah, I
straight
just
up
wanna
there to
make
get the
sure
bucket,
you
the first
don't-
pass, you're probably with Almor at the moment.
I just want to make sure no honesty falls out on the way out the door.
And yeah, then I take my bucket to my room. I do my thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then I head back downstairs and I meet up.
Okay. E3, what's your passive perception?
My passive perception is... Oh, I am slacking because I haven't actually got my character sheet open. Hang on.
Oh no.
I know. Amateur.
Whoa.
My passive perception is 13.
13. As you're going out, you may notice that Cora's hair is dripping wet. Or damp, I should say.
What are the nights like here? Are they warm?
Oh,
Or
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will make a note. Well, I'll make a mental note, but won't say anything.
Okay.
What'd you get to eat?
I got some pie and some old bread.
Yay, old bread.
Yeah, no. But as we're doing a stakeout, I didn't want to. I presume we're not still in the inn at this point.
No. Now
No,
you're
we're
on
probably
the road
on our way.
headed
As
back
long as
that way.
there's no like passers-by, I'll be like, yeah. Well, while we're doing a stakeout, we haven't really got 5-star service, but
Well, pie's pretty good choice
here
for a
you go.
stakeout.
I'll pass over a bit of pie and some bread.
I'll just pack that away for now.
Okay.
Goddamn camera.
So while you guys were gone, ye other three, technically
I
4,
have-
but we'll assume Thorithiel is doing that elven thing where he's keeping a he's keeping
He
a better
probably
watch.
has a hangover, or maybe not. He's an
No,
elf.
he got
No, he got restoration. didn't
Oh,
he?
that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming we're going to be outside here for a while, and I'm not sure if we're going to be sleeping. Can I use my arcane recovery to get my spell slot back?
That would have to be during a short rest.
Assuming while sitting here we're resting for a short while waiting.
Yeah, I would say you'll be here for at least an hour. So yeah, you can short rest during this.
Okay. And I guess do we see anything before they get back?
I will get back to that. I wanted to know, what are you guys doing during that time? So it sounds like what Dracon is doing is pouring through his book.
Yeah, I'm just chilling out.
What about Junko and Elowin? You're muted.
Now am I?
No.
Hello? Hi.
Hello.
Yes. I'd probably be doing my typical stakeout stuff. Like, very still, very attentive.
Oh, a real bundle of fun then.
Oh yeah, no, like, I'll talk, but, like, otherwise I'm just like,
I'm looking at books. She's just staring into nothing.
So, and then
Poor
there's
Elowin's
Elowin.
like,
And I'm probably just sat there by myself being quiet as well.
Okay. Just, are you doing anything to pass the time, or just kind of...
No, just taking in the night, really.
Okay.
Just the sounds and everything.
Okay.
Listening to nature.
All right. Well, then you guys enjoy like a quiet half hour. The only sound, aside from like the occasional or would be just the turning of pages, maybe the occasional scrawling of notes. A gentle breeze here and there blowing through the grass. I'm imagining you guys are up on sort of a low hill. It's not above the level of like where the castle walls will be built, but it's a slight rise with a clear view of the tower, and more importantly, of the door at the top of the steps to the tower.
yeah.
You can see the road that runs through town, and you can see the mill turning on the river. You can even make out the distant lantern-lit stone bridge over the river near the General Traders, and of course the distant stone temple of Archael.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
How far is the drop? So if he was to somehow climb the wall at the backside,
You mean the tower?
no, if he was to able to escape and climb the wall,
Well, there's not really
out.
a wall.
Is it not
finished.
surrounded by walls?
That's just part of the tower.
Oh, okay, never mind then. I just weren't sure if there was some way he'd be able to climb over a wall and then down the other side without us noticing. So I just wanted to know how tall the hill was.
The hill? The hill's only like 10, 15 feet above the level of the rest of town.
Okay.
It's not a very high hill. It's really not high.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's maybe like 150 feet south west of the castle, or of the currently being built castle, of the tower. After about 25 minutes, you get a smell of potatoes and beef and gravy, and you can see well, I don't know if you guys would have a lantern or anything, but you can make out
No.
the silhouettes of E3 and Cora approaching.
Hey, we're back. Did anything happen?
oh,
No, nothing yet.
Does anyone
It's
need some
loud.
pie? I've eaten half of it, but
I'm
I've got
good,
some
thank
if
you.
want it. Yeah.
I'm gonna-
love some.
Damn it, you weren't supposed to bring him back any pie.
I would love some pie, please, E3.
Okay, but you have to also have this old bread.
Okay, thank you very much.
There you go. Apparently that's travel rations according to Osler. I presume we're just waiting. Do we... I mean, I don't think I'm going to get a night's sleep before he escapes.
Probably not.
Is it worth trying? Do we want small rests? Are we going to take it in turns to do watch? What's the plan?
I can watch.
Okay.
I
think-
don't mind staying awake while I read through my book.
I think multiple eyes would be better.
I'll stay awake.
Are you sure, Dracon? You don't need sleep? You cough. A
Wait,
lot.
what?
Are you sick?
Are you sick?
Do I cough?
Yeah, you cough like too much, too loud.
I need water. Do you have water, Junko?
I'll give him water.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I'll just down the water and then I guess hand her back her empty water skin.
I presume a water skin holds like more than a mug's worth of water.
Yeah.
I've never had one in real life, but like
I feel
Well-
like I just do it out of spite that she says I've got a cough. So I'm like, all right, I'll just drink all this water then, and we'll fix that.
Elowen has endless water, doesn't she? No?
I do.
oh, yeah.
So we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. Save that. I don't mind getting some sleep if everyone's okay with that.
I
Yeah.
do.
can
I
sleep.
want to. I'm going to get a nap in at least.
Yeah,
But
just a short sleep.
before we do that, I've got a heavy crossbow. Can anyone use it?
No. No.
I cannot master E3.
I know Therithiel can, but I don't think he would want to.
Yeah, he uses a longbow, doesn't he?
I think so. Let me open his character sheet real quick. Yeah, he uses a bow. Though he has a light crossbow.
Well, I'll keep hold of it until we hear from him.
Okay.
If no one else wants it.
You could have left it in your room at the inn if you want, if you're worried about
Nope.
like just carrying it around.
Nope, that's coming with me.
Okay.
So is the sword. Does anyone use a? It's a broadsword, isn't it? The Sethwith's sword of fun. I think it's broad.
Yeah.
I believe it was a broadsword.
It was a
yeah.
broadsword.
Does anyone use a broadsword? Because I mean, I guess I could, but I got the hammer.
I prefer staffs. If I have to use something.
Same.
Okay.
I like
well, I
my
mean,
weapons.
Sethwith implied that it was magical, but that might have just been talk. Is there any way to find out?
I can cast a spell that can detect if it is magic.
Do we want to keep our spells? I say our spells, like I've got loads.
It will take me 10 minutes to cast, so I should be fine to use other spells throughout the day.
Oh, well, if it's not gonna like cause a stir, and you don't mind doing it, do you want to have a look and see what it is?
Sure.
And I would like to ritual cast Detect Magic, Tim, on this sword.
Okay.
And Ithri is going to watch this ritual very intently.
Yeah, I'll sit down, legs crossed, got my book out in front of me.
In
If
fact,
anybody got a
Ithri will probably like whilst you're doing stuff, I'll just be like, so what are you doing? Why are you doing it? What's that for? What are you doing? Like,
And I would not say a single word because I'm
Yeah.
concentrating.
I think like after like a while you'd understand, but it's just really wants to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Has anybody got a hooded lantern?
We shouldn't really use that. I mean, that's going to stand out if we do that.
I mean, I don't. It's not
Right?
urgent. We don't need to do it now if it's gonna make us more obvious. We would just-
I just know that hooded lanterns are used by unsavory types to conceal themselves in dark places.
Well, I don't have a hooded lantern.
I've got a tinder
Me
box,
neither.
a torch.
I should be fine.
And yeah, I'll cast it, Tim.
Okay. You said it was detect magic?
Well, Yes, detect magic.
Okay. The spell takes about 10 minutes to cast. You're not accustomed to doing it like in grass. Like you're accustomed to sort of a more contained workspace. It might be even a little distasteful, like because there's sort of a dampness to the grass, and you get the job done though. You end up just kind of making a divot in the dirt.
Yeah.
And drawing a complex circle around the sword. You kind of position the sword appropriately and begin casting the spell. It does not detect as magic.
Okay, so as soon as I finish this spell,
Master Ifri, I do not believe that this sword is magical.
So it was just talk. Okay, no, that's cool.
Yes. Would you
Maybe
like
it's
it
worth
back?
some money. Well, I'm not going to use it, but I can carry it, and I'll just
okay, I'll just hand it
Probably-
back to you.
put it behind the backpack or something, so it's here. But, yeah. Cool.
Do I detect magic? I don't know if there's like a radius to that. It doesn't actually say on the ritual spell page.
It's just where you look.
Okay. Oh wait, it says. Hang on a minute.
I think it's like
For the duration, you sense the presence of magic within 30 feet.
Yep.
So, I guess no.
I mean, my potion is magic, so that might.
Yeah,
be
other than the items
but-
we have on us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe everyone's magic items are known at this point. If there was any secret magic items that somebody had, you would technically be alerted to that. But
Yeah, as far as I know, it's just the potion and the decanter.
Does the murder rock still detect his magic?
yes, faintly.
I would
Didn't-
have that on me.
Oh,
Unless
did
they
you not
kept
give
it.
that to Rutger?
Yeah, I
Did he
went
keep
for
it?
Why would he
I
keep it?
presumed I
I-
left the bloody rags there. so
The
I
bloody
wasn't gonna take
rags,
it.
yeah, I mean, somebody would have just disposed of that. I don't think he'd have cared if you took it. I don't think he'd have cared if you left it, in the case of the rock. Once Burn was done with it.
Well, I didn't take it out of my inventory, so I still have it. We'll say. For some reason, I just kept it.
Okay, sure.
So, I guess we're just gonna keep watch. One thing I wanted to say before we start this, I'm gonna do my best, but I think this is a terrible idea.
What? Why?
I think setting free someone who is probably evil and at least helping out evil at a minimum, just in case it leads to information, it's not how I would
Well,
do things. But
He's gonna lead us to more evil people.
I am not the biggest brain of the group. That's fine. I just wanted to make my opinions known. I'm still going to try really hard to make this work. Just wanted to say that. Also, if anyone wants a dagger, just take one, and I'll just pour a pile of 5 daggers on the floor. I'm going to just meditate
I'm
for a
gonna
bit.
take like 3 of
alright.
them.
I'll take one.
Jeez.
I understand why you might be worried about this, Ifri. I don't believe we have any other leads that could possibly help us. I think if there was a better option, I'd like to think we would take it.
I understand the logic. I just don't agree with it. But I will stick. It's not like I'm saying I'm out. I'll stick with you guys. I'll try and make it work. I just wanted to.
I mean,
That is fine.
you can always kill him if you know lead.
I mean, I can try. I don't know how strong he is. He seemed very confident and experienced, but I definitely won't let him go free without trying. If it
Well,
looks like he's
yeah.
done
I
this to me.
mean, we're gonna follow him to the other group and, catch him in the act or something, right?
Sounds great.
Let's just hope it works out that way.
Sure, it will.
Okay, I'm gonna. Does anyone mind if I try and get a long rest? It's been a hell of a day.
No, I'll wake you up if stuff starts happening.
Thank you.
You sure to wake me
Sure.
up too?
And Ithri's gonna sit down with his his potion of invulnerability. Is that what it was?
Yes.
Yes.
Potion of invulnerability. And like stare at that for 10 minutes and then
Go to
put it away
sleep
and
with
go
it.
to sleep. No, it's like very intently staring at it, and then after about 10 minutes, he'll put it away and go to sleep.
Is there any trees around?
There's a few odd trees. Nothing major, with the exception of the grove, which you can see from here. You can see the outside of the Druid's Grove. Outside
I'll
of that
try
is
and
just the odd
find-
tree or a copse.
I'll try and find like the biggest tree just to get a bit of cover and shade from anything, and I'll kind of just get my bedroll out and take a little nap.
Okay, that works. If you
Proper
want, we can say
set.
that you guys have set yourselves up under one such tree as that.
I'm good
Yeah.
with that.
I'm keeping my eyes peeled.
Same.
Okay.
You said you were going to sleep. I thought. Oh wait, you drank
Who,
the
me?
water. Never mind.
Yep, no.
Okay.
I feel like I would get the idea of what you're trying to say. Like, you should just, like, go to sleep. But,
Like
I'm an
you're
old
old,
stubborn
Go
man.
to bed.
and I'm just like,
No, I'm fine. Don't tell
I'm
me
gonna
what
read
to
my
do.
book.
All right. You two who are staying awake then, or is it three?
3.
You three who
Yes.
are staying awake. Make perception checks.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh yes.
Oh no. Oh,
This is where it
no.
all goes wrong.
Right, I'm gonna do
Oh,
it
no.
through. I'm gonna do it through D&D Beyond.
I should have stayed awake.
I really hope that if
I
he
really
doesn't
should
get
have
a
stayed
full
awake.
night's sleep.
I got a 7.
Well,
Oh,
Yeah.
you want me to do it on there, don't you?
no, you are. Didn't you already?
9.
Or was
I
that
did
sick
7
for
on
something
D&D.
else?
No, that was earlier. I did 7 on D&D
7.
Beyond.
Then that's
so-
fine. That's fine.
Okay.
Okay. Let me just check one little detail. How long are you guys going to be staying up?
Forever.
A while. And I would like to make it known that I rolled an 18 on an actual dice, so it is roll 20.
You mean it's your luck?
It's roll 20.
Someone
I got
rolled-
16.
Yeah, that's cool. Just a before Ithri went to sleep, he'd probably say, "Wake me up if you wanted to swap watch or whatever."
Yeah. I would probably stay awake at least 4 hours before doing that old man doze off in the armchair thing.
Okay, it's just sort of like asleep with your book in your
Yeah,
lap.
with my book open, like,
Okay.
for 4
What
hours.
time of night did we start this
Like-
camping?
10 or so. 10:30.
All the
So-
stuff.
The hours wear on. Dracon eventually
Composes off.
dozes off. You can hear him lightly kind of snoring over at his book.
If he gets loud, I'm gonna wake him up.
I don't imagine he'd get like it's hard to snore too loud when you're sitting, in my experience.
You'd be impressed.
I mean, stilly.
Your nasal passages are just more open upright, you know.
I would probably be sleep talking, but more so mumbling under my breath. You wouldn't be able to make out anything I'm saying.
Hope you don't mumble anything too arcane.
You're casting spells and shit.
I have an idea of what I'd be saying, but yeah.
That's fine.
Sleep cantrips, is that a thing?
Not yet.
Fireball lands on all of us.
What's that called? Oh, Neuromancy? Is that the one? Sleep magic, I think. Okay. Junko, Korra. The hours wear on. Korra.
Yes.
you're actually finding you're starting to nod off a little and like you're having to really fight to stay awake.
What
And
nonsense.
at one such moment, you kind of start to, do that thing where you kind of shake it off to give yourself, to get the torpor off. And you actually catch sight of something. For a moment, you see a shadow against the moon atop the tower. And like you look, you squint, and you can make out a little shape drop what looks like a long, shadowy noodle down the side of the...
He's got noodles!
Long, shadowy noodles.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, I'll put a hand on Junko. Just like, and I'll point. He's got a noodle.
I'll shake. Sorry, I'm about to cough. Dracon and put a.
You
boot
need the
on-
water.
I do actually, and a boot on E3 and just like kind of wiggle them,
Noise.
and then I'll get Elowen very nicely.
Look.
Huh?
Are we moving? What's going on?
I think
I'll
it's
just point.
happening.
What's happening?
No point.
The shadow has
How about
begun
it?
to climb down the
Is
shadowy
there a-
rope.
Is there a covered path to get to, not path obviously, but like a way we could move in cover to get closer to him?
Not.
Or is it all open ground?
It's fairly open, unfortunately, all around this area. If you stay low, once he's on the ground, it might not necessarily be easy for him to spot you. Like you could take a long way around. So you could, in short, it would be an even stealth check. There's nothing you could use to take advantage of cover, but nor is there anything giving him an
How far
advantage.
away is the base of the tower in terms of like?
About 150 feet.
Okay.
And it is night, which would mean disadvantage on perception checks for those who don't have dark vision.
Unless
Actually, no, most of your dark vision's only 90 feet or 60 feet, so you'd have disadvantage on perception checks.
So I think if we would say we need to get moving, I don't want to lose him. Under breath.
Okay.
I presume we're going to do this as stealthy as possible.
Yeah,
Yes.
so we can't light up any torches. We're gonna have to rely on people who can see better.
I put
Would you
my
like
hands
me to
down.
go at the front?
Can you see really well in the dark?
Yeah.
Okay, then yeah, probably.
You go first.
Yeah, Dracon puts his hands down as he's about to cast Dancing Lights.
Don't do that. Ah!
But I'll be behind Elowen.
Okay.
I'll take up the rear.
I'll be just in front of Cora.
All right.
So I'll go in the middle with the quiet boy.
So
in the middle.
by about the time you guys are starting to move, he's hit the ground and he just leaves the rope. Like you see him kind of, and the rope won't come down, so he just leaves it. And
His noodle.
He's like, yeah, I tied that rope, really well.
if any of you are particularly sharp-eared, you might even hear a dwarven curse before he just turns and starts kind of making a run for the road.
So is he coming towards us?
No, the opposite direction from you.
Okay.
You were
We follow.
southwest of the tower. The road is like 30 to 50 feet north of the tower.
And we have the map.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
you.
Not this map. This map is too big.
I forgot that was a thing.
Who zoomed out? Okay. That's
So
where
you
he-
saying we was here? 'Cause I thought we was on this side.
You
Oh,
were southwest.
Okay.
Okay, so we were here, and he's gone up here.
Oh, north isn't north, is it?
No,
No,
Oh,
north
this is north.
It's not north.
north is
So he came off
east.
this. Yeah, he came off this side.
Or no, I'm sorry. Then you'd have been southeast. My bad.
Yeah,
I
we
got
was
turned around
we
as
was
well.
here. Yeah, okay.
Oh, so we're like here in these trees, maybe?
No, south. Southeast.
here.
You would have been
Oh,
about
over here.
Yeah, near
like
there.
in this ballpark.
Oh, holy shit. Okay.
We were over here. We were
So
off to
yeah,
the side.
I
That's how
believe
compasses work.
1 square is 20 feet
Yes.
on this map. So 150 feet, you'd have been. Let's see. Of course, I didn't get the size right.
I thought we were closer.
20, 40, 60, 80, 100. Yeah, you'd have been about here in this ballpark.
Does he look like he's heading straight for the road, or is he?
He's
heading
kind of running like this way.
towards so he's heading towards town.
Yep.
Ithri would say he looks like he's heading. Presuming Ithri can still see him.
Hang on a second. I just realized that my observer map isn't where it needs to be. The heck? There. Sorry.
All
I
right.
fixed it.
He looks like he's heading towards town. Do we?
I am not an expert at following people, but I believe we should try and keep our distance, but try and keep him within eyesight at all times.
Do you think he's going to the inn to pick up something? I didn't think he
Maybe.
had anything left in his room.
I hope
I-
not, because
I don't see that as a smart thing for a fugitive to do, but who knows?
Why would he be running into town?
So, by the way, not to interrupt you guys, but he is running for it, so you guys have to make a choice. You
Oh,
can
yeah,
kind
we-
of run to keep up with him, which will give you disadvantage on stealth checks, or you can take a slower pace and trust that you'll be able to find him again, but you will not have disadvantage on stealth.
I think we need to keep up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we need to
Just-
get quick about this, guys.
Yeah.
But
run up.
go. We're not going to go like in the road.
Yeah.
We need
Okay.
to be safe about it too.
Try and
Okay.
keep to the shadows. Try and not in
So,
between buildings.
it's dim light, which would also give you advantage on stealth, making it a neutral roll.
Okay.
Cool.
Here we go.
And I will roll for Therithiel as well.
Ooh.
On stealth, yeah?
Yep.
20 from me. The old man
you
is a
can
stealthy
just
boy.
click your skill in your character sheet.
Yeah, but I'm
Natural
using
Oh,
using D&D Beyond,
Oh, right.
so I'm just adding the multiplayer on top.
Fair enough.
okay.
I think
Nice,
That's,
nice
I
one,
think
Cora.
that's my first nat 20 of the campaign.
I believe you are correct.
Wow, I rolled a 7. Sorry, guys.
Usually a
Happy
natural
day.
1 or 3.
I'm just going to pick you up and carry you stealthily.
It was a group check, so
I'm okay with it.
the end goal is for you guys to get more successes than failures. And a natural 20 counts as 2 successes. So, yeah. You guys are able to stay low, taking advantage of the tree cover and the bushes, and even the backs of a couple of those shops going into town. As you see him run toward the town center. Why is my observer not moving with me? There it is. He kind of doesn't turn into the yard, though. At the town center, he turns down this road and then runs between the inn and the village hall.
We know where he's going. I don't say that out loud. That was actually not a 3.
And I would say, how close do you guys want to get? You guys can get as close to him as you want within reason at this point. But he's going to be...
Probably within 60 feet so we can see him at least. I would
Yeah.
say.
Okay, so you guys kind of run around the other side of the Inn of the Welcome Lady, maybe even taking advantage of the garden behind it and like peering through the little wooden fence, like at what he's doing behind there.
But I know that there's nothing behind there, really. Like where he's running is towards the river.
Well, you can actually see what he does. No, you would not necessarily know that since you're not overly familiar with the village, I would say. But he runs around and then stops at about this point, right at the back of the village hall. and you can see him hunker down near that back wall and just kind of stay in a crouch there for maybe a minute before he stands up and kind of does a quick look around. All of you kind of really quick ducking low, and he doesn't seem to see anyone. And then he starts to retrace his steps, running back toward the town center. What do you do?
I say we keep following him like we are.
Yeah.
Did I notice him do anything besides crouching down? Or did anybody?
You can make a perception check if you'd like.
I would like.
Please do.
Ithri would just be like, looks like he's stashed something.
21.
I got a 9.
9. Junko, you have particular... Actually, hang on a second. You are within 60 feet. However... How's your night vision? Let me take a quick
Good.
peek. Pretty
She's
good.
got night vision goggles. What do you mean?
Okay. Yeah, you can see this is actually in the spy world. It would be called a dead drop. You see him uncover a rock that was kind of placed against the back wall of the village hall and take out a little sheet of parchment. And then he starts scribbling something on it. And then he replaces it under the rock. And all of this was kind of shielded mostly by his body. And once he replaces the rock, then he starts running.
Go ahead. I'll just like whisper.
What's up, Junko?
I make stuff. I come. Go.
No, what? We should stick together.
I'll start moving back
This is
around
like
the inn.
non-negotiable.
Yeah, I'll start moving back to follow him.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go with Dracon.
Okay. I think Thurithiel will probably do likewise.
Go with them.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll grab Junko. I'll go with you. You shouldn't go alone. Whatever you're doing.
So, oh man, I didn't want to split the party like this. I just wanted to go grab it and leave.
We can,
Too bad.
but I'm gonna
Just
go
be
with
quick.
you.
I'm gonna go grab it, the parchment, and
I just follow her. Like,
Okay. So, running over there, you move the rock aside, and there's a number of there's a lot of messages, it looks like, on this part. It looks like someone was just writing notes and then drawing a line and then a new note. Sort of like a
hidey hole.
like roommates might use a whiteboard who
Yeah.
are working opposite shifts, you know. Most of the handwriting looks like Zethwith's. I would say how much time do you want to spend reading through it, or are you just going to grab it and go?
what else is there? Just a paper?
Just the paper.
I'm grab the paper and go.
Okay.
I just go with her.
Okay. Everyone else, I'm going to have you make another round of stealth checks.
But I've already done my good roll for today.
Yeah, same.
I didn't even know I was going to get one of those.
14.
Okay.
18.
Okay.
I'm very dexterous.
Ooh, 17.
Nice.
Who knew I was a stealthy dwarf?
You guys are easily able to keep pace with him, as he, maybe not the brightest dwarf in the mine, he stays on the road and just keeps going.
Oh, wow.
Before we run too far away from Cora and Junko, I would personally like to stay back a little bit, keeping everybody else within eyesight, if possible, in front of me, so they know which way we've gone.
Okay. Notably, As he's almost out of town, he does take a little side path, not on the main road. And it looks like he's just running out of town at this point. So, Dracon, you said you were going to hang back a bit. I would say you can see Junko and Korra. You guys wouldn't have been very far behind. Like, you'd have been...
Yeah.
Honestly, Junko, with how fast you can move, probably could have caught up already. Probably did catch up already.
My movement speed's 40.
Because Junko, you can do 3 moves in a round, right? Do you have cunning action? I think you have cunning action.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So yeah, you can move, instead of 60 feet in a round, you can move 90 feet.
Well, I can move 80.
Okay, yeah, 80, Jesus. So yeah, you guys probably caught up to them well before the point where he took that veer off.
We're the speed team.
Yeah.
As we regroup, I'd probably just say, I presume that the road is like either very hard packed dirt or some sort of...
That's exactly what it is. Except for this little side path, which is little more than like a hunter's trail.
Well, before then, I'd probably say we need to keep eyes on him because I don't think he's going to leave a heavy trail.
I'll say to Ferifia. And I guess, Elowin.
Do you guys know how to track within forests?
I mean, I do a little.
A little.
Perhaps it might make sense for you to try and lead us, just in case things don't go to plan.
Of course, I'm happy to.
Okay. To make it simple, he's just going to aid any of the checks you're doing on that, Shannon.
Okay, yeah.
Did you say we caught up?
Yes.
Okay.
Very quick, like in seconds, with how fast the two of you can go. As opposed to, I think E3 moves less than 30 feet in a round. So
Those little legs.
If these guys ever slowed down to like have a bit of a conversation, I'd probably try and get a head start, knowing that
I'm not stopping.
It's like, yeah, you guys can catch up.
We have 2 athletes and a dwarf and an old man, and Elowin probably is the only normal runner.
I am very dexterous, okay?
Dexterous, oh man. I think
Yes.
like in a couple of levels I get more movement, but not yet.
Yeah, I believe you do. Yeah. Okay, so you do see that as he ducks down this older, kind of overgrown trail, he has stopped running and is just kind of huffing and puffing and walking quickly. So if you guys want to keep pace with him, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we know where this is leading towards? Like, if we was to stay on this path, do we know the general direction, like where he could possibly go in? Possibly be going, should I say?
You're a wizard. Don't you have like keen mind?
I do not.
So,
Oh, damn.
what
Maybe at one point. At some
I
point,
need
surely.
you to do... You can
Yes,
do
good, sir.
a... No, this would be, I guess, history. You can do a history check.
Okay. I do know the area. You know, I was one of the first people here, Tim. You know,
Mm-hmm.
just saying. 21.
Okay. Then, yes, not only do you know where this goes, but you're probably getting a little sinking feeling. This is an older trail that leads to an outpost that was built near here during the conflict 10 years ago. Known only as the Moat House. It was sort of the outpost from the temple itself that was going to oversee the conquest and enslavement of Hummelbank and later Vigormount. It was sacked pretty thoroughly. It should be little more than a ruin now, but there's a lot of local speculation that maybe it's haunted by the ghosts of those who used to defend it.
Oh, God. Would I know like the general size of the place? Is it just one building?
What did you roll? You got a 21?
21.
You would know that it was pretty extensive when it was built, but they really did a number on it.
Okay. I would relay back to the group quietly as we're like following him.
It seems that this path is leading towards an old outpost that was used within the war or the conflict that happened 10 or so years ago. I have a feeling that he may be leading, or at least heading, towards there himself. It is supposed to apparently be haunted, so
Haunted?
we may possibly come upon something of the undead nature.
It's also notably in a very swampy region, which you guys are already noticing. Like, as you follow this trail, maybe a quarter of a mile, the trail turns more into just the driest part where there's a lot of, like, the river kind of joins with the trail soon.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
you can see that the river kind of spreads out into a very marshy, reedy area. The trees get a lot more numerous in these parts and look a little more sinister at night. There's a lot of things that could easily be claws reaching out over you. You can see a lot of things moving in the shadows, and you can hear kind of unsettling things just out of sight. And every now and again, you'll take a step on what looks like it's safe ground, and your foot will just sink straight through into like a pothole full of water and mud and God knows what else.
I don't imagine he's pulled out a torch or a lantern.
Actually, he does pull out a lantern, yes.
Okay.
Perfect.
Or no, I guess he wouldn't.
Take...
I guess it would probably be a torch. He wouldn't have access to his old lantern. It would just
Does
be a
he
torch.
seem to be like taking it carefully, or like is he just walking now at like a steady pace, or is he still running?
He's moving steadily. He's not running, but he's trying to keep up a brisk pace. But you can, even when you can't see him in the night, you can periodically hear a little splash followed by some dwarven curses.
Yeah, just imagine we could possibly see the torchlight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Though it is very overgrown, and keeping direct line of sight of him would be damn near impossible unless you were right on him.
Okay.
If we know where he's going, is that enough information where we can now recapture him, or do we rejoin with whoever he's going to and have a harder fight?
It's possible that he may even bypass this outpost. I just know that it is in this general direction. We don't know who he's meeting or anything.
Well, plus if we... Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Cora.
Well, if we start fighting him in the middle of the swamp, we're going to be loud, and that would alert anybody he's going towards. So we should probably wait to where he gets where he's going. That way we can get the jump on all of them.
Or we can wait until burn.
Can we send him a message? Somehow?
I cannot do that.
I've heard of magics that can do that.
It is something that perhaps I could learn, but as of now, my capabilities don't reach that far. I do agree, though, that we could possibly tell Byrne, but I feel perhaps following him at least until his destination is probably the best idea.
I don't want to turn around and leave this guy to go free.
No.
If we go and tell Byrne, we take him with us.
No, I mean we wait till he gets there and then we go to burn.
The thing is, we
Yes,
have
sir.
no evidence of what he's doing. We have no evidence of where he's going. So we should definitely, like Junko says, at least follow him until
Okay.
we get there.
I agree. As much as I don't like this place right now.
It is very dark, too, with all the trees growing over. There's very little moonlight. A lot of frogs. Crickets. And you can hear like some kind of shrieking bird not far off the path that just starts letting out this horrible piercing shriek before you hear a lower rumble, another higher pitched shriek, and what sounds like meat getting ripped up.
Oh,
Yeah, just avoid that at all costs, you know? Just follow the dwarf's path.
Yep.
I'm just gonna head this way.
And the entire forest out here. I apologize that my map doesn't reflect this. This is a partially unfinished map. The entire forest south and west of Hummelbank is largely flooded from a combination of the river. I'm sorry, north and west of Hummelbank directions. Actually, south too, to be honest. That entire little section, though, between those roads, all the forest there, and largely the road north of it, is supposed to be forested, and it is flooded. The river flows out to the sea here, and it's kind of breaks apart into multiple smaller streams that themselves kind of get drained into the very land around. Hummelbank is kind of a little bit on stabler ground. It's a little out of the flooded part of the forest, but only just.
Is the swampy area encroaching on Hummelbank?
Not yet.
Okay.
Elowen kind of looks around to check that everyone's still behind her.
For now.
yeah. I'll have the rear
now.
again.
Don't leave me.
Yeah, I'm just plodding along.
Everyone stay within spitting distance of each other.
Ew.
I can spit pretty far, actually, Mr. Ifrit. When we were younger... Never mind, that's a story for another day.
Back in my day.
Back in my day.
Let's just focus on catching this guy.
One the
Or at
spinning
least
camel.
following him.
Yeah. I don't think, unless anything jumps out on us, Ithri's going to just remain quiet and within touching distance of whoever is next to you.
Okay. As you move along, you can see that the track is somewhat littered with debris, fallen branches. You actually find what looks like the leftover remnants of a carcass just lying by the side. It stinks to hell, and there is sort of a boggy stench that's starting to linger as well. As you continue forward, there is one point where you nearly get a little too close because you can see that the path itself is overgrown, and Zethwith is like trying to force his way through thick tangles and reeds. You'd probably want a machete to get through here, but moving forward beyond this point, you imagine it would be impossible to move without making a lot of noise. Zethwith has gone this way, though, and you can hear him huffing and puffing and cursing.
It looks like the path ahead's a little bit tricky to get through. Do you think we should still follow him?
We don't really have a choice, do we?
No.
This is about a mile out, by the way.
Do
A mile
you-
out from Hummelbank or
Yep.
a mile out from where?
From Hummelbank.
Miss
Any-
Elowin,
Yes.
correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe druids are capable of moving, shaping, growing plants. Is it possible
Yes.
you could clear this area for us without
I
us
mean-
making too much noise?
It's possible.
Moving That sounds noisy to me, but I'll trust you.
Basically have the plants move themselves. That's the spell.
A high level spell.
No wish.
Start talking to the trees. Hey, can you like
Just go
Hey,
over there.
sand tree.
just let us through? Shit, you know?
Are the tree branches themselves like pretty thick and sturdy and numerous?
Numerous, yes. Thick, sometimes. Sturdy, rarely.
Okay.
Like, how wide is this area? Is it not possible for us to just skirt around it?
No,
Or is that the only
no. I mean,
path?
it's just completely overgrown. You could go into the swamp and go cross country, but that would also, I mean, there's not really unless you could fly. There's not really a quiet way through here.
Well, guys,
Not
we
if you
gotta,
want to keep up with Zethwith, anyway.
we gotta follow him. We don't have a choice.
Do you think it's best we let him go further ahead
Yes.
so we don't make the noise, clear the area, and then perhaps try and track him again?
We
Assuming
don't want
he
him
is
hearing
going...
us.
No,
We don't want to
assuming he is going to the outpost.
You know the way there?
I do. I believe.
It's a risk, but I'll go with whatever you guys think.
Does anybody have a means of clearing this without making too much noise?
I'll pull out the sword.
I mean, would a sickle work?
Yes.
It's still gonna
I
be
could-
loud.
Yeah.
If I was to try and just push through,
Like
Yeah.
Zethwith is doing?
yes, would it make noise?
Oh god,
Like,
yes.
How,
Have you ever
okay.
tried going through like
Bramble.
untended forest?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's loud.
I usually just jump through it because I'm like, I'm gonna try and
Except that it
can
just
you
keeps
turn into
going
a
and
bear?
going and going.
What, Junko?
Eleven, can you turn into a bear?
I
Oh.
could.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
That's very cool, but is that quiet?
Well, first he thinks it's bear. We make no noise with our mouth.
And it distracts him while you guys follow me through? Or I clear a
Well-
path?
He thinks it's bear, not person.
I feel like that would make him move a lot faster.
If there's a bear following him.
Sorry. It really is like.
I'm sure he
Not
knows
laughing
when the
at that.
bear wants to get him or not.
We need to get through either way. I can't really help much unless I use fire, and I don't think I should be doing that right now.
So
Being
turn into
bigger,
a bear.
it could clear the path quicker.
He's not going to hear us. He's going to hear a bear.
If everyone's happy with that.
I don't know.
I'm not unhappy with it, but
Best
I don't think
option.
we have a better idea.
Traveling
else
with a
have any
bear
ideas?
sounds cool.
It's either that or we use sharp blades.
How
I think.
like wouldn't a bear struggle getting through this because it's bigger?
Yep.
That's as an overgame
Really?
question. Yeah, I was like, bears are like.
Well, I was thinking like they have their claws in their mouth, but I still feel like a sharp blade being swung through it is probably gonna clear it quicker than a bear would.
Yeah, and a bear could force its way through it, but that wouldn't necessarily clear the path for you guys.
I was just thinking that, like, so out again, my thought process: if he hears a bear and not us, then we're good, you know.
And maybe if it was like a grizzly bear or a polar bear, that could be the case. Unfortunately, I think at your level, I have to
Yeah,
imagine the
I'm
only
a-
bear you could do is a black bear.
A little bear.
Yeah,
Little bear.
one of those
Koala
cute
bear.
little Alaskan ones.
Yeah.
I mean,
Panda.
I guess I was thinking more. I was like, it'd be easier because you're bigger, because it's more on the ground and not like brand. I don't know. My
Also,
visuals
something to
are
consider is
different.
with how soft and spongy the ground is, she would probably sink and have some troubles moving in that way.
Worth it.
I
You
I-
want me
Maybe
to
not.
sink?
No.
Well, you're not just going to be like quicksand, bye, into the ground, but you know, it would
Bear-shaped hole.
it would still be a pain in the arse. Put it that way.
Then you
See
have
a
to
head
get the
poking out of the
unstuck.
swamp, like.
Oh!
Well, he's
I
getting
think-
a distance on us, so I think we just have to cut through.
Yes, I think we all just use whatever we have. I
Is
have a
he-
dagger.
If he's
I'll get my
breaking
sickle
through,
out.
is he leaving an obvious trail? Like, would it be
Yes.
easy to follow?
He's
To someone
already-
with survival, I would say there's a pretty obvious trail to follow.
I think maybe we just hang back and follow his trail slowly
Yes,
rather than.
let him.
He's kind of
let
breaking
him-
the trail through a little bit.
Yes, follow the path he has already pushed through. Let him gain a distance. We should be able to track him.
Yeah, I think I could follow what he's left. The bear's a cool idea, though.
I want to see that later.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'd love to see Alone as a bear.
Is bear the only option? Or...
You guys want to cut through? We cut through.
I'm happy to go first, whatever.
Okay.
You
I
have
can
a
cut
lot of-
through. I can
don't
cut
have a
through
knife.
with my sickle.
What was that, Cora?
I don't have a sharp knife. But if I'm going last, I should be fine.
I just don't know if we could all try and clear at the same time, or if we need somebody up front doing it alone.
3. You have the biggest muscles. You do it. Chop, chop, chop,
Chop,
chop.
chop,
Lumber
chop,
chop.
chop.
Okay.
I won't start hitting it with my hammer.
His arms just start spinning.
So
Whirlwind.
I'll assume you wait until the sound of Zethwith's hacking
Yeah.
and cursing
Yes,
is
yeah.
out of earshot.
Yeah.
You can hear him for a
minute.
good long while, honestly. It doesn't sound like he's moving very quickly through here.
I think what Ithri, if he's going first, Ithri would want to like chop the way through so it's clear in a stealthy way, but try and catch up to hear so he can hear curses, then pause until he can't, and like
Okay.
it's like he never really leaves audio. Well, not for any length of time.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to have you guys do. I need each of you to make either a stealth check or a survival check. Sorry, E3. I feel like I'm getting
No.
up on you with those.
Survival was good. I've got
Oh.
good survival.
22 on survival.
Up on stealth.
6 on stealth.
We're not doing very good, guys.
I got a 14 stealth.
Okay.
Wait, do I have? I don't have.
I've got
lucky.
a 13
Need that.
survival.
Wait, what? Oh no, that is 6.
I mean, I'm okay.
Okay. You guys start moving. And it's very monotonous, it's very dark, and frankly, it's a little sinister because the sounds kind of quiet around you, but more distantly you can still hear them. And every now and again you can hear some kind of a warble. A couple of times, E3, just at the edge of your dark vision, you'll see something really quick slither into the shadows or scurry up a tree, or you'll see some eyes like in your peripherals that are looking at you out of the darkness, and when you look, they're gone. You find that you are cutting through equal parts reeds and vines and creepers, as well as cobwebs and nasty nests of things that you probably wouldn't want to face first into. A couple of times, you do find torn apart webs where it looks like maybe some individual of dwarven stature did walk face first through something. At one point, you even find a dagger that is stuck almost to the hilt into a large, kind of a wispy, bendy tree of some kind. It's maybe 4 inches thick, and the knife is just stuck clean through it. And when you like tug on it, it doesn't come out of the whatever it was stuck into. But it does just kind of wave back and forth a little bit when you.
Would it be safe to assume it's a marker?
Assume whatever you'd like to assume.
Is that, I presume there's no blood or like insect
There
juice
is not.
or- Okay.
There is not. You have no problem continuing to follow Zethwith's trail, but for the next about 2 miles that this continues, you actually at no point hear any sign of him. You never do catch up to him, or maybe you've somehow gotten turned around? It's difficult to say. It's clear that you're still on the old trail that goes out to the moat house. And there are still like tracks indicating that someone went through here. Probably Zethwith. But you never hear him.
I'd probably, at that point, if we're not anywhere near... Well, I mean, I guess Ithri wouldn't know unless it was smack bang in front of us. I'd probably
Yeah.
turn to the group and say, I haven't heard Zethwith for a while. Do we want to speed up? Or... I mean, there's still a trail, but I'm scared he's leaving us behind.
Peripheral. Is it possible you can see how new these tracks were? Or perhaps Elowin?
He'll aid Elowin's check if you want to make a survival check.
Okay.
That's 2d20s.
Yes. No, well, no, you would just select advantage
Yeah.
at the top of your page.
19.
19.
Yeah.
These tracks appear to have been made very, very, very recently. This path, on the other hand, looks like it might be over a decade old. And not tended to at all. You do find signs that others have passed through here, though. Quite a few others, actually, all humanoid. In fact, you find signs that it looks like someone has come through here with a machete at some point or another.
Someone's definitely been here recently. You can see that the tracks are very new. What does everyone reckon we should do?
Is this directly still leading towards the moat house?
Oh, yes. Yeah, actually, you've now traveled about 3 miles in total. It shouldn't be too much further.
I believe we are closing in on the moat house. And if it seems he has gone this way, perhaps we should pick up the pace. Or
He might be
stay.
inside already.
Yes.
That might be why we can't hear him.
Yeah.
I think we should carry on.
Yeah,
Same
Listen
pace or
around
quicker?
us.
I'm fine with going quicker.
We could jog.
Risk
I mean, we
pace.
still got to cut through this stuff.
Has the path opened up now?
No.
Oh, we got... Okay.
Would you like me to take the lead?
I'm happy
Give
for you
Ithri
to,
a break?
Yeah, I'll hand over the broadsword.
I was going to say, it is definitely exhausting. I don't know if any of you guys have ever tried travel with a machete. It's not fun at all.
I tried gardening. That's exhausting.
Yeah, comparable. Comparable.
Wow.
So I take Ithri's broadsword and I take the lead.
So notably, Elowin,
Yep.
you recognize that the land here is sick. Very comparable to the Druid's Grove. All of the trees here are diseased of some kind. There's things hanging off of them that look like it's nothing more than just a physical, tangible rot. The bog stinks, and there's a noxious element to its smell that kind of, to anyone else, it just smells like a nasty bog, but to you, it smells like a land that needed someone to tend to it, but that has been neglected and poisoned and it's twisted. The vegetation is dense, prolific, but also sickly and unhealthy. You can find creepers and vines that throw strangling loops over the remnants of dead saplings and a few living bushes being choked out. Rushes and cattails rustle and bend, and the croaks and warbles and bird calls have gone from mysterious to dangerous. Again, not necessarily recognizable to anyone else, unless someone wants to make like a nature check. Elowin, I think you would just innately pick up on the change in the
sure.
atmosphere.
I'll make one.
No, I don't have nature.
I have quite high thingy, so. Oh, never mind. I'm not even going to tell you the number.
But after another half mile or so, you can see the road actually rises up out of the wetland onto an embankment, and you can make out the jagged, the jagged shards of what remain of the moat house, silhouetted against the rising sun, or the coming dawn, if you will. Though
is it kind
technically,
of clear?
I guess that would be behind you, wouldn't it? Oh.
Is it clear now?
Yeah, I mean, if you get once you get up, yes, it will be.
Okay. So I kind of start going up the embankment a little bit and pick bits out of my hair, little thorns and bristles and shake myself off a little bit. And I look back to see if the group are behind me.
Yeah, we've left you.
Guys!
Hi.
Everyone is still here, but I'm gonna need a group. Actually, I'm sorry. From Dracon, Junko, and Cora, I'm going to need Constitution saving throws.
Well, that's unfair.
19.
13.
Okay.
7.
He got
Me
a little
too.
nap. He got a little nap in there.
He did, but it was interrupted. So, Dracon, I have bad news. You have gained 1 level of exhaustion. Between sleeping for not very much and also not on your Tempur-Pedic to hoofing it through a swamp, coming out of a very long day on top of all of that. It's just too much. You're not the younger man you used to be. It's
I've
wearing
got really
on your
good
body.
dexterity.
That dexterity is not age.
That's kind.
He's just old.
It's a flexible old man.
You're flexible, yes, but you're also, I mean, you didn't pull a muscle. You're tired.
Yeah, it's not doing yoga. You know what I'm saying?
You know, old people will just sit down, fall asleep for 10 minutes, then they're up for like an hour, then they fall asleep for 10 minutes. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah, but
did
you
that's
haven't
fine.
had any
miles.
10-minute naps all day, and you just spent
Well,
like the
I had-
last 3 hours hoofing it through swamp.
Did you take a swamp nap?
yeah, I just slept walk the whole way here.
Anyway,
Could be
it's only 1 level of exhaustion, so probably not
Yeah,
going to be
that's
too
fine.
much of a problem, but you're definitely feeling the wear and tear of going all through the night in a swamp.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Cora and I are just like, yeah, whatever.
But as you
So-
guys move out of the undergrowth and kind of up onto this properly tended to path, you can
Before
make out.
we do, if three's gonna say, I have a hunting trap. Do we want to put that on the path behind us in case someone else is coming here?
Yeah, that could be a good idea.
Yeah.
Sure.
So can I find like where it's still really like a real tough path? Can I go and put down a hunting trap?
Behind you?
Yeah. So that if anyone was coming this way from
I
behind,
see.
they would, if they didn't see it, get caught in it. And I'll just
Yes.
like point it out to everyone and be like, "Don't stand in it."
Yeah, you can do that.
Let's just hope we don't go back that way.
Poor Rhubarb and Custard's gonna get trapped.
Well, because we know it's there,
Wow.
can disable it.
No, not rhubarb.
Okay.
Miss
So-
Junko,
Hmm.
you were saying something?
Oh, I just wanted to make a perception check to see if anybody's watching us.
Okay. So I'm going to circle back to that actually.
Okay.
First of all, you can see that this little path travels about 50 feet right up to the ruined front gate of what's left of the moat house. But there is a large fallen tree over the path that provides some cover. You can also see that there are nasty algae-encrusted pits full of scummy water, as well as a murky moat around the aforementioned moat house.
Yeah.
And
Does
we're
his
actually going to
trail-
take a break here.
Oh,
And when we
okay.
come back, we will find out if anyone's watching you and what you do now that you're here. Welcome back, everybody.
Hello there.
So, I have some bad news with regards our map. Dynamic lighting will not work with what we are using at present. So without a tech guy, I am forced to use Fog of War, and you will all just have to imagine the dynamic lighting, what it might have looked like in your mind's eye. So you can see what?
Unsubbed.
Oh,
Unsubbed.
how dare you! You can see the fallen tree in your path just up ahead. You can see some of the scummy pools and mires nearby, and the moat. And beyond, you can make out the ruined wall of the moat house. A single crumbling circular tower on the one side, and a thick 5 foot wide solid stone structure to the other, the top of which looks like it's been ruined by some old large object striking it. You can't really make out much of the courtyard beyond, but you can see two giant iron reinforced oaken doors that have been cast open and wholly ruined. There is nothing left of whatever portcullis once guarded it. Nearby, a massive greenish-brown frog croaks, eyeing you, watching your progress.
I'm gonna need a frog noise from you, Tim, please.
Too damn bad.
Oh.
Ribbit?
Is there any light visible from where we are? Is there any windows in the walls that we can see light through?
There-
Or is it solid rock?
You can see that there are some arrow slits. You'd probably have to do a full circuit of the building to see like all around it. But you can make out, for instance, there is an arrow slit over here. You can see that there are some holes in the crumbling tower and some sections that look like may have just collapsed outright.
No sources of light behind them, though.
You don't see any sources of light, save for the sun just peeking over the horizon behind you.
What's the plan?
It seems that this possibly is the only way in. The tracks lead here. I don't think.
Wait, I was gonna say,
Yes,
wasn't
thank
Junko
you.
gonna
yeah.
make the
Junko, you may
perception?
make a perception check.
I was gonna ask a question before we ended, and I can't remember
5.
what it was as well.
What'd you get?
5.
So I'm
Bye.
ready.
You don't see, like, the hair on the back of your neck stands on end. You feel like someone's watching you, and you kind of look out. You don't see any signs of... I mean, there's plenty of signs of life, but not of malevolent life.
I'm gonna take out my wakizashi.
Yeah, my question before the break was going to be, I'm assuming from at least where we are now, I don't see any other obvious entrances besides the one that's in front of us where the tracks lead.
No.
We found what we needed. We should head back now.
Aren't we gonna get the dwarf before we do
Yeah.
that?
I don't want to leave. What if he leaves this place and we lose him forever?
I feel like if we enter, we don't walk out. I just...
That's kind of
I feel-
pessimistic. Why do you think that?
That doesn't sound very hopeful, Junko.
I mean, that was the big risk in this play. I
see.
don't want
Big
to
risk
leave.
was losing him without information.
That's not something I want to be willing to do.
We still don't technically know he's in there.
We also have no idea what he's up to, if he has met anybody. We
Could
could
be
have all
others.
died.
The
We
point.
could have all
There-
died within the grove, Junko, and we didn't.
Is there
Uh,
anyone who could take a sneaky look in one of the slits to see what we can see?
I'm pretty sneaky. I can go look.
Be careful.
How many inches or feet does that broken tree stump come up?
The highest part of it, not counting like the branches that just jag off of it, 3.5, 4 feet.
Oh, perfect for me.
That's a thick boy.
Well, it's not thick. You got to figure, like, you can see the ground is kind of holding the back end up, so it's elevated, like it's not pressed flush with the ground.
I'm
You know what I mean?
going to move over there, get behind the tree stump, and actually read that paper.
Okay.
Are you
Removing.
going to...
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Cora. Are you going to go up to the entrance and see if you see anything?
Yeah, I can do that.
Are you okay to go alone?
Yeah, I'll be okay.
Okay then.
I think I would stay within a turn of movement's distance. Not
Okay.
trying to
20
designate
feet
it.
for you?
25 feet for me.
Oh,
but yeah,
okay.
I'd get. So.
I think we'd be fine behind you. I mean,
Well, you guys can position yourselves accordingly, and while you're doing that, Junko, looking at this, this sheet, this report sheet, basically, it looks to be a correspondence. Most of the messages are clearly from Zethwith, and they are reports of different caravan movements. Noting like caravan, 6 guards, wagon, poorly trained, no watch, and you can see they are also noted which ones Zethwith was going to be hiring on with, along with
Bosses.
recommendations for how to hit them and requests sometimes for specifications. Like there's one where he requests a capture and a daring escape. You can also see detailed lists of the wealth that each caravan is carrying, and they had a lot of interest from the reports that you're seeing in caravans that had stone, construction materials, and food.
Does this place look like it's being rebuilt?
Looking about it, no, this place looks wholly abandoned. You can see that also, looking over it, the person responding, it's almost exclusively just confirmed without a signature or rejected, no signature. Zethwith's final message was a report stating that they're onto him, he needs help, will meet at the moat house, awaiting further orders.
That's what he just left.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So as you're like reading that last one, looking up, you can see E3 kind of creeping along the ground on the other side of the tree toward that gate. I think Therithiel is going to kind of get a position in the trees with his bow where he can easily shoot, where he has a good line of fire, but where he's not like sticking out.
E3 was just staying close to you, Cora, as you went up.
Yeah, I'm just within rushing range. Sorry, I blanked out for a sec. Did Junko tell us she was gonna read the letter, or was this?
I mean, you
just
can see it would be visible that she's doing it.
So E3 will just like pay attention just to her, just to make sure that she's not gonna tell us to stop. And if she doesn't,
Okay.
No, I have the paper.
But you
Cor-
told the group, didn't you, when you first picked it up?
No,
No.
no.
Oh, in that case,
Only
just
her and Cora know that she has it.
Okay, cancel that.
I was seeing if it was important, but I hadn't been able to do anything aside from that yet.
It was also too dark to read up until probably this point. But Cora, so you were going ahead of E3?
Yeah, so I would kind of just slide over this tree here,
Mm-hmm.
and I would be heading up this way just to take a peek in there.
Okay, so I'm gonna have you stop there.
I stopped right there. I
Because you
figured that
can-
was a good point to stop.
You can see the drawbridge and the ruined gates, still like badly damaged, where some old battering ram slammed against them repeatedly. Like they're smashed. These doors, even if the hinges weren't broken, if you could shut these doors, they wouldn't. I mean, they wouldn't stop anything from coming in or out. E3, as you're kind of cautiously following her, you see some bubbles in the water, and a frog kind of rises in the pond or in the moat to your right, and it looks at you, and then it gets sucked into the water as a much larger frog, about the size, only a little smaller than you, rises out of the water. And it is looking right at you.
Is he cool?
Ooh, I knew there was something about these frogs.
And I'm
So
going to need
he's
everyone
cool,
to
right?
roll initiative.
Oh, he's not cool. Be cool, bro.
Because there's actually a whole bunch of these very, very large frogs scattered about. And they've been watching you with great interest.
Great.
Damn unstealthy dwarves.
Let me get out my 5th edition initiative. Actually, wait a second. Nobody roll initiative yet.
Oh,
Okay, it's okay if you did. Oh god, I have all the wrong people on here.
no, I'll roll again.
Hang on. Let me get rid
Yeah,
of
I'll roll.
Carrot, the spirit of
Just
marinara.
scrap that.
Okay, let me just roll again. Here we go.
No, Cora, you're fine.
No, here it is. Here's the new one.
So what I need you guys to do is select your token and then roll initiative. And it will automatically add you to the initiative tracker.
How do you do that? Just select it and then click initiative.
Yep.
Ooh,
Here, I'll change mine back.
I'm a smash a frog.
Yeah, you
Dracon, you did not have your token selected, Also, you're muted.
God damn it.
I think.
I have it selected. Man.
Select
I'll do
it
it again.
harder.
Why am I always at the bottom?
It
You're
worked
not.
that time.
Oh, yeah, you are.
Yeah, I am.
But you can keep your 17.
But you can't be lower than me. Oh, yeah, I guess so.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Is that everyone?
Thanks,
1,
Tim.
2, 3, 4, 5. Let me do Therithiel, if I can say his name. To be fair, even McKnightsy trips on the name sometimes, so I don't feel too bad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I've learned them all now, so I'm good.
Now, we have some giant frogs with initiative.
Some of you are nameless
Yeah.
What do you mean?
on the turn order.
I see everybody's name. Oh no, yeah, I see Cora's, but I don't see Junko's name.
I don't
Wait, what?
see Junko or Dracon.
Huh?
The icons
On the
there, so
initiative thing,
The tokens are there.
I
but...
see the issue. I see it. I see it.
What? We have to re-roll initiative?
No.
No, I
It was
wish.
who's missing? Dracon and who else?
Junko.
Junko.
it's okay, yeah.
Mine's there for me, but I guess for other people it's not.
Okay. Did that fix it?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
fixed it.
Were you like a secret person?
Okay, remind me
Maybe.
when the game is over that I need to add those tokens to your character sheets as the correct ones with the names revealed.
Also, just
yes, boss.
FYI, Ashley forgot that Ithri was trying to keep his surname a secret, so just pretend you don't know that.
No, yeah, that's
you
cool.
can change that on your.
You guys know it now, so it's not. As long as
No.
you're not like metagaming, it's fine.
No. I
Fixed
don't
it.
think anybody knows mine either, so.
Mr. Darkhammer.
That sounds like it. No, that's not.
Ooh. Ooh, hey. Hey, E3.
Fixed it. Does anybody else want anything? Like Elwyn, do you want me to remove yours?
You can remove my middle name if you like. If you can. I don't know whether that's part of my first
I
name. You
absolutely
probably
can. I
can't.
can get rid of all of it if you. I can label you guys as whatever you want to each other.
Well, be
I'd like-
gentle.
I'd like a level up.
I can label you as level 20 if you'd like. You're still level 2, but you can label it whatever you want. Okay. So, E3, appropriately enough, you have initiative. Actually, I'm going to leave that going as we get our combat music.
No, not the
Kill the
froggies.
frogs.
Ah. Can
So,
I turn into a frog?
how
Probably
does
could.
conversation work in battle? Like, could I ask a question and get an answer, or is it
Yes.
like if I ask the questions, I have to wait until the?
Within reason, you can
Okay.
you can dialogue.
So I think I would quietly say, "There's frogs attacking. Are we breaking stealth?"
Did they see you?
Yes.
Yes.
I
You
literally
said
said they're
yes.
attacking.
Yeah.
I see like 5 pop up around me. I'm like, yes.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Including 2 frogs that are like
Slightly
about
lower.
5 feet tall. And
Jesus.
with all of the froggy girth to go with that.
Ooh. Like a bit of girth around here.
So first off, Ithri is going to do the old bear growl. So that's why I asked about breaking stealth.
Okay.
Because he's raging. So I'm going to rage. I will step up to this singular dude. How is movement in this terrain? Is it?
As long as you're on the ground around the road, it's fine. If you get off the road, it will be difficult terrain, and if you get into the water, it's at 1/4. It's double difficult terrain.
I'm not. Okay, so is that water? It's not quite-
No, you're fair in that spot.
Do you know
It's-
what? I presume you can attack diagonally. I'm gonna do one movement
Okay,
there.
so unfortunately, that would also be difficult terrain though, because you're moving into a bunch of tree branches. You can still do it. You can still absolutely do
yeah.
it. It's just 10 feet.
as
of
long as
movement.
it doesn't affect. The
Yeah,
combat,
there would just be
it's
like some
fine.
crunching and cracking as you stomp through some branches.
I've
and get them
already
out of your
growled
way.
like a bear. It's fine.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna whack a thing with a maul, with a hammer. Ooh,
Nice.
loads of that is hidden.
Very nice.
So that's 18 to hit.
18 is going to hit.
Cool. That's 12 damage then.
Ow.
Very nice.
You bring the hammer with roaring like the bear, as you mentioned. You bring the hammer straight down on the body, squashing it like a heavy rock just fell on a normal-sized frog, completely destroying it. But as you do so, you can hear a small voice, almost whispering directly into your ear. Oh. Hello.
that?
Gilmore.
No
I
voice
hope
that you've
so.
heard that you recall
Oh, hey.
before,
I
but
presume that
Want to buy some goodies?
no one else seems to hear. And it doesn't really like pull you out of the rage or anything, but it is something that just like on the very edges of your consciousness you can.
I'm assuming only he can hear that, right?
That is correct.
I'm going to respond with a hey. Presuming I can. I'm just going to say hey out loud.
There's no response.
Like the beaver
Cora
on a
will
mountain,
respond.
Just like, hey,
Cora's like,
yeah.
hey,
Oh hey, you free.
And then
Trey. Oh, I'm
gonna-
sorry. I thought you were done.
So
Go ahead.
5, 10, 15, 20. So I'm going to move here. Can I move? So that's 20 movement.
That is
Can I
20. Yep.
One more south, or is that too much?
That would be 30.
Okay, yeah, I'll stay there.
Okay. Okay, Dracon.
Okay, I would like to. I might as well roll through this sheet. Hang on. So it's actually in the chat. I'm going to cast Firebolt at. God, get out of the bloody way. Sorry, 2 seconds. I'll cast out this one at the back here.
Okay.
Boop. 1 damage, great. Lovely.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, you also missed.
Oh, yeah, shit.
You
All right.
throw a scorching ball of fire, and the frog doesn't actually move. It just kind of strikes the ground very near to it. The frog doesn't seem to fully comprehend what you just did. It just
Okay.
ribbits a little bit and starts to kind of
And-
hop toward you.
I would also like to move to here. And that was my turn.
You were south of it? No, you were.
I was here.
So it'd be 10, 20. Or I'm sorry, it'd be 10 feet, 20 feet, 25. Okay. That's 25 feet of movement.
Yep, that's fine.
Therithiel
Do not want to be next to any of these little boys.
is going to move back a bit. Over here. And let's see what kind of attacks he's got. What'd you leave for me, McKnightsy? Ooh.
Pew pew.
Okay. Well, yeah, he's gonna knock an arrow and loose it into the closest frog, I think. The one... Actually, not the one by E3. The one south. This one. Let me see if he has anything fancy before I do it. That should be factored in. It's not.
Hunter's mark.
I don't think he has that. I don't see anything about that. And I don't want to use that without him revealing it. So, okay. Yeah, he's going to fire add 2 to whatever he rolls here. Oh, he already has the +2. Look at that! 13 is going to hit for 10 points of piercing damage. Damn. Alright. It means business with the longbow. The arrow punches right through that frog, actually carrying it back and nailing it to this tree over here.
Nice.
food for later.
Can we lick it?
Though note that that tree is growing out of out of one of those scummy pools that you would have to step into to cut it down.
Oh no, no.
No?
Definitely not eating that.
Nah, fam.
Junko.
Not for that. How far can a hand crossbow shoot? There's
2060, I think?
2060? Okay.
Or no, it might be 60.
10, 15, 20.
I don't know. It should say in your attack. I'm looking. A hand crossbow is 30, 120. So you have to be within 30 feet to have a proper
Okay.
experience.
Then I'm just gonna step back to where I was here then. I'm counting. There we go.
Okay.
And I'm gonna do the hand crossbow, which... Oh, right there.
Now, unlike Pathfinder, I do not believe
Oh,
you
the
have
shotgun.
advantage against creatures that have not acted yet, correct? unless you have a class feature that gives you advantage.
Not that I'm aware of yet, because cunning doesn't do that.
Okay. No,
And-
cunning definitely doesn't.
Wait, hasn't acted? I have sneak attack.
Yeah,
Does that work
I
out?
don't.
Not
No,
active.
I don't think that gives it to you. I think you would get sneak attack if you had advantage.
But you're doing my part extra d6.
I think it's only the assassin that gets the ability. No, assassin gets something else. I'm sorry.
So, as I understand it, sneak attack is if you're hidden or if there's an ally next to them.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, but I'm not going in the water, so. And I'm going ranged.
Okay.
So take. It's actually a short bow, my bad.
Oh,
But-
well then, yeah, you're well within range.
Nat 1!
That's unfortunate.
Nice.
So you
go to
shoot
draw
the
it
short bow
back.
just as like E3 pulls his hammer up off of the frog, and it just ricochets off of the head of his hammer that got kind of right in the.
Hey,
You know when you misfire a bow and it like the thing hits your arm and leaves a mark and it hurts? I imagine that's what just happened.
I don't think that happens when you misfire. I think that just happens when you fire a bow without something on your arm.
Yeah, you think she's that ill prepared? Nah.
No, I mean I mean honestly, it was kind of a freak thing. Just the hammer happened to be there, but it probably broke the arrowhead. Shooting an arrow against a steel hammerhead, that'll blunt your arrow tip. For E3's part, you probably don't even notice, honestly, with
fair enough.
all the stuff you got going on.
Frogs to squish.
Yep. Anything else, Junko? You still have a bonus action.
You do another one? No, hide. I'm gonna hide.
Do you want to move into cover where you can hide?
Yep. Can I go hide in the branches over here?
You absolutely can. Though it occurs to me now, technically, for future reference, you could do that in the other order. You could hide in the branches and then make the attack roll and get your sneak attack. Not that it would have mattered with a nat 1, but...
Yeah, I wanted to do it after though, so the next one would be sneak. Because
Okay.
then they'll be closer.
That's fair. All right, make your stealth check.
Oh, yeah. Can't get any worse. It'll go eventually.
Why would you say something so controversial yet so
17.
brave? Okay, 17. Well, the one by E3 is going to try to plant a little bite on you.
Don't let it happen, man.
Come at me, Frog.
Its tongue snaps out for your hand and tries to pull your hand into its mouth. Does 12 hit you?
No.
All right. You just kind of pull free, wrench your hand free of its tongue, and its tongue snaps back into its mouth harmlessly. This one over here is going to hop
Yep.
right there and is going to do the same thing. That's a 19 to hit.
That'll hit.
Okay.
Oh, that one hits more too.
It catches your hand, actually the same hand, like as you just wrenched the hand free, another tongue snaps to your wrist and pulls it into its mouth, and its mouth closes down. You take 7 piercing damage, and you are now grappled.
Is that so? I'm raging. Does the piercing get half?
3
Yes.
piercing damage. Very good.
And I'm grappled.
But you are grappled, yes.
That's crazy damage, man.
I
That
rolled
basically-
really well.
That's nearly a death for me.
I rolled max damage.
Max damage is 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
If
cool.
you hover over the number, you can see what the actual roll was, if you ever want to.
Oh yeah, 6 + 1.
Yep. So that's it for those ones. Now the 2 big ones. What is this ability?
Oh
Oh, that's fun.
no. No. It's not.
Uh-oh.
This one is going to leap 20 feet over to here. And then it's just going to do a little mini hop the rest of the way.
Are you sure it doesn't like eat its little fellow?
Doesn't,
You know,
like,
doesn't
slip in
waste
his-
the meat.
That's not really, they don't really eat dead food.
But it's basically like, fresh.
Yeah, but like,
Okay.
which are you gonna go for? Are you gonna go for the Wendy's that's been sitting on the counter for like 30 minutes, or are you gonna go for the Taco Bell that somebody literally just walked in with and is still steaming?
Both.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, I was about to be like, both sounds good.
Either Wendy's have to tacos later.
This is actually at +1 to hit, by the way.
Okay.
That's 22 to hit you, Dracon.
That hits, and as a reaction, I cast Shield.
+5 to your AC.
Oh, no, I lie. I don't.
No?
I don't.
Okay.
No, it's going to hit me no matter what. That's
Okay.
stupid.
In this case, then, it catches you by the leg as you were trying to get away from it when it did that tremendous hop through the air. It caught your leg and kind of pulls you back. Part of your leg is in its mouth, and it's like trying to... It doesn't really know what to do with you. It's just trying... Like, you're too big to eat, but you still take 6 points of piercing damage, and you are now grappled by this very large frog. This one is going to do a leap over here. And is going to continue hopping around that pool. And then it's going to use its action to leap again.
Don't come to me. Okay, good.
Cora, it is your turn.
Well, Cora will move up here quickly to help Dracon.
Okay, he's just kind of got his foot up to his knee, stuck in this thing's mouth, and is trying to figure out how to fit the rest of him in.
She'll whip out her staff, twirl it around in a flurry. Oh wait. Did we... My extra attack can only be...
Unarmed.
My first attack, though, doesn't have to be, right?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna smack it with my staff.
Okay.
The stick.
With my stick. He's my stick. 19 to hit.
That will hit
Yeah.
for 5 points of damage. All right, you crack the frog with your staff. It doesn't seem to... I mean, it didn't kill it. It doesn't seem too badly hurt, in fact.
Oh, well then I'll smack it in the face then.
With?
My fist.
Okay.
Hit in the eye.
Oh yeah, I'll aim for
I
its
guess
eye.
I'm just trying to coax you into being a little more descriptive with what you're trying to do here.
Well, it's not gonna work, mister. You can't get me. Yeah, I'm like, I just kind of like, and then I try to like jab it in the eyeball
Okay.
Pull me out of this
as my bonus. This is my bonus action.
Yep. Ooh.
Nice.
I saw the +1.
Critical
and I was
hit.
looking for it.
Oh,
Okay.
I get that eye. Bam.
Yeah, you jab it right in the eye. That's another 6 points of damage.
Take the eye
doubled?
clean out.
It does not take the eye clean out, but the eye is... There's like fluid on your hand now, and the eye is like bleeding, and you heard it. That really hurt.
Is that doubled? Or
It rolled an extra... You don't double it, you roll the die. You roll 2 of the dice instead of 1. So
I just rolled a 1.
the second D4 was a 1.
okay, okay.
Is that it, Cora?
Yeah, that was my action and bonus action and move action. So yeah.
Is it dead?
Eloin, it is not dead.
Oh.
These big ones seem a little
wow.
meatier.
Help me.
I'm trying.
I'm gonna move to here. And can I just ask a question? Could I use both daggers at once?
You can.
Yeah.
I believe it is a bonus action to attack with an offhand weapon, and you do not get to add anything to the damage. It's just a straight roll, unless you have an ability or a feat that tells you otherwise for dual wielding.
Okay, no, that's fine. I take out my spear and roughly how big are the spears? How long?
A spear would be about 6 to 7 feet.
Okay. I put that away. Sorry.
That's all right.
I
That's
take
right.
I take out my dagger, and I try to go underneath the frog, under the chin,
Okay.
and attack it from under there.
Okay.
So stab it through.
Let's see how this goes.
And I
This
click
is
that
one
in
of the big ones, keep in mind.
Okay. Which section do I click that in?
You'll click the attack macros. Though may
Yeah,
I point
click
out
in the
before you
middle.
do, if you have any movement left, if you move
Yeah.
right here, you will be flanking it with Therithiel. And if you move right
Okay.
here, you'll be oh no, actually don't move there. But if you move here, you're flanking with Therithiel, which will give you +2 to hit it.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's an 8 instead of a 6. Unfortunately, that's still not gonna hit.
Okay.
So you try, but even as you're moving, like the frog kind of moves, keeping its back to you. So that, and I don't know if you see, like a frog's back is a little harder than its front. And when you try to make the stab, it just turns, and you end up. You don't like drop the dagger or anything, but it ends up being little more than a glancing blow, doing no real damage.
Okay.
Is that the end of your turn?
Yeah.
E3.
So,
Mhm.
I might be getting a little weird with this. Depends. How big are these frogs? Would I be able to? Because it's grabbed my arm in its mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Would I be able to lift it off the floor with my arm, or is it a bit too?
You could certainly try. It's reasonable. It's about the size of like a medium-sized to large-sized dog.
So, we're getting weird with this. I'm going to take my other hand and shove it into the one on the right's mouth so that I'm grappling it, and I want to smash them together.
Okay. Okay, first we're gonna say make an athletics or acrobatics check, opposed by the frog's athletics or acrobatics check.
Oh my god, I knew you were gonna smash them together.
So, athletics
There's mine.
is... it's 10.
No, I got the 10. You got the 12.
Oh. Huh? Oh, cool.
Means you win.
I rolled
So-
terrible.
You are able. Yeah, you. As its tongue snatches out for your wrist, like you grab the tongue and ride it right into its mouth and just lift both of them up. Now I guess let's call this an unarmed strike. Do you have that? Do you have a macro for unarmed attack?
I don't know. Do I?
Go ahead and
I
make
don't know where it would
let's
be.
call it a strength check. Let's go, it would be with your weapons if you had
A
it.
strength check, not saving throw.
Not a saving throw.
That guy?
Ooh.
That was so close to a 5.
So,
Yeah, okay.
21.
Roll, we'll call it. Roll a d6 and add your strength modifier and your rage damage.
okay, so that's 5 plus 2 for rage, plus 3 for strength.
9 points of damage.
10. So
10
it's
points of-
3 plus 2 plus 5.
Math.
10.
OP.
Yeah.
10.
Please nerf. You actually kill both of them. Picking them up, you slam them together, and like they
Nice.
kind of they don't pop per se, but there's a lot of blood that kind of squeezes out, and like you feel a lot of new fluidy stickiness in the mouths, and as you like throw them off of your hand, there's just blood and ichor all over.
Pause. I'm not going to throw
Oh.
them off my hand.
You're not.
Whilst holding them, I'm going to move up 1, so that's 10 foot of movement up to this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm just going to fucking roar at him whilst holding his little dead bodies on my hands.
I really wish they had intelligence. I would probably let you do an intimidation check. I don't think they actually get what's going on, but
I'm having fun. It's good.
E3 Frog
This is
Hands is
E3
risen
Frog
from the
Hands.
swamp. Dracon.
Get out to be swamp.
So I am currently being eaten by a
Very large frog. Though now it's hurting and one of its eyes has been badly injured.
So what I'm going to do, I am going to cast Burning Hands on the frog. And it's a cone, but with the feat that I have, I can pick any friendly or any creature and choose not for it to damage them. So I'll aim it. So
choose not to damage or choose for them to automatically make their saving throw. There is a difference.
You can choose a number of them equal to 1 plus the spell's level. The chosen creature automatically. Oh, so they automatically succeed, and they take no damage if they normally would take half damage.
That's now then. So they're effectively not affected by it. Okay, that's all I needed to know.
I believe so. Yes.
Cool.
So yeah, I'm gonna cast Burning Hands on this motherfucker, and
okay.
it's a DC of 14. Good roll.
There's mine. I got a 9.
Okay, so it hits 13 damage.
So, E3, you see a curtain of flames burst from Dracon's hands, and just as you're like, oh, here it comes, it just kind of parts around you into sort of a Y shape.
I imagine I actually probably just shield my face with dead frogs.
Frog legs tonight.
You completely burn the frog away down to little bits of charred cinder and bone.
I would like to stomp on it.
Nice.
Well, yeah, that's fair. As you're pulling your leg out of what's left of the wreckage, you can do that. Is that the end of your turn?
Yes, I would like to stay where I am. Thank you.
Sure. Therithiel. Well, Therithiel is going to draw his rapier, stowing the longbow, and he's going to take advantage of that delightful flank, and we're going to go for it and see what happens. He does not get the +2, but he does get the +2 because he's flanking, so 14 is going to hit for 7 points of piercing damage. As it's kind of turning to protect itself from Elowin, he is able to score a blow in the crook between its leg and its stomach, stabs the rapier into it and wrenches it free. There's a little bit of blood. The frog is still moving though and seems more angered than beaten by this. Junko.
I just have one thing to say quickly, and I know I shouldn't, but I believe E3 does take 6 damage. He takes half damage from the spell.
No, you said they take or they automatically succeed in the save, and if they would take half damage.
On the spell, it says a creature takes 3d6 on a failed save.
Read
or
the
half
ability
as much
for
damage on a successful.
Read your evoker ability again. It says on a successful, or on a, if they take half damage, they instead take none.
And they take no damage if they would normally take half damage.
Right.
Yeah, I'm being dumb. I'm dumb.
That's okay.
Yep. Cool.
It's a little funky how it's worded, but
that was a whole roller coaster of health.
Yeah, I was all like, I've read it 4 times, and I'm pretty sure he takes damage.
To be honest, the only reason I know that is because I had to do a deep dive on the rule in a past campaign. So it is a little confusing, but that's how it works. You're good. Junko.
I'm gonna sprint forward with my Wakizashi and just try and like nail it in the head.
Okay. And if you hit, you got sneak attack.
If I hit 17.
That'll hit.
Ooh.
Let's see that sneak attack.
Two.
So how much damage total?
9.
Okay. 9 points of piercing damage. You plunge the Wakizashi right into it. Unfortunately, it kind of goes in through its shoulder and into the body. Like it's a terrible wound, but the frog is still alive, and like shuddering on the blade and trying to break free. You still have a bonus action. Is there anything you want to do with that bonus action?
Can't stab it again, can I?
Do you have a
Is that
second
level
weapon? You would need a light weapon.
I'll pull out which. Oh, one of the daggers
Dagger?
I took.
Yeah,
Although
you
I
can do that.
don't-
You can
You
just
took 4.
you can
I
just
took
draw a
3.
dagger.
Took 3.
Oh, 3.
I took 1.
But it's 1d4, right?
It is. You don't get to
Okay,
add
so-
anything to that. So you
Okay,
do have to
it's
roll
fine.
to hit.
I'm just gonna use my dart because that's what I have on my character sheet. Then.
Okay. Well,
9.
it would only 9. In this, it is actually going to hit it.
So 4 damage.
It would be, yeah, you rolled a 4, so you hit it for 4 damage. You guys are lucky I added back in the flank rules. That will kill it. So it's like shuddering and trying to get off of your wakizashi as you grab. You said it was a dart, or was it still the dagger?
It was a dart.
Okay. You draw one of your little. Basically, it's a pin, right? Isn't it like just a really
Yep.
long pin? And just
And I
plunge
just
it.
shove it right in the top of the head.
And it punches right through the skull into something juicy. And you let go, just leaving this little pin sticking out of its head as the creature just collapses to the ground and dies in seconds.
Oh.
I heard
Three,
a
that's
voice.
so cool.
Yeah, I'll be like, yeah, throw the frogs away. I heard a voice. I think we've been made. Do we want to
You
get
heard a
in there and
voice?
check?
I
Were they
didn't hear a voice.
I didn't either. Where? When?
At the start of this, like 12 seconds ago. I can't remember
Was it-
how to come back that was.
Was it our dwarven friend or
18 seconds
somebody
ago.
else?
No, nothing. No one I recognized. Do we want to get in there?
We probably should. This was probably loud.
I'm going to hang at the back.
Are you okay?
See me limping.
Do you need a hand?
I'll
I need a heal. I don't know about a hand, but
A healing hand.
oh yes, please. Halloween.
I'm gonna collect my pin again.
I'm gonna head straight for the iron gates.
Yeah, I'll go back to where it was here and just kind of.
Okay.
I'm gonna look for anybody that's watching us, like around the area.
Okay. You make a perception check. Did you say Eloin was doing a thing?
I go over to Dracon and try and help him up.
I'm
Okay.
standing.
Oh, okay.
I'm just
thought you were
leaning on my
still on the
quarter
floor.
staff. No.
There, you can see there is some blood soaking through around one of his legs, like soaking through his. You wear trousers, right?
Yeah. Also, Tim, you need to remove that token.
Which token? Oh, I did miss one. Whoops. Good call. Cora. Moving up to the drawbridge. I need to check. Got it. You don't see anyone who's watching. You don't see anyone at all except for just your group.
How sturdy is the drawbridge?
Well, it's funny you should ask.
I like step on just this part of it here.
It's clearly visibly rotting. The chains of the drawbridge have broken and fallen, and you can still see them laying covered in muck and rust in the moat. The drawbridge itself is soft and squishy.
Guys, I don't know if this drawbridge will stay together for us all to cross.
Well, the dwarf must have got in somehow. Do you want me to test it?
Maybe you should let me test it. I step on the bridge.
If you don't mind, I'll catch up to Cora.
I'm just going to stand here with Elowin clearly holding me for no apparent reason.
Oh, I wasn't.
For comfort.
I hadn't moved my token, but I'd probably have been up there as well.
Okay. And I forgot about Therithiel. I'm probably not going to be very good about keeping up on him, so I assume unless otherwise specified that he's just kind of hanging with, keeping an eye out.
How's the drawbridge holding up?
So as you move across it,
I'm stopping in the middle.
stopping in the middle, it's very, like, it feels a little tenuous. It creaks a little under your, well, I guess wet wood wouldn't really creak, but it you kind of feel like if you jumped on it, you might break through, but it does hold your weight.
I'm gonna just give it like a little jostle, just to account for maybe Ithri going over it, because I am pretty light. Just to see if it'll hold. Does it?
Actually, yes.
Okay, and then I jump off over here. Okay, just don't stay on it too long. Should be okay.
I'll do the dwarven shuffle and follow.
Okay. Moving across, and E3, same thing. It holds your weight, but you definitely wouldn't probably want to jump on this thing too much. Like, you wouldn't want to push your luck, or you might end up with very wet boots.
I'd probably be doing like short steps, quick shuffle, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Give me a moment to reveal some things. I will tell you all about what you're seeing in just a moment. Yeah, that should do fine. So, what you see is a courtyard. Open to the sky above, of course. You can see that the gates that once, barred the way are hanging open on a single great hinge. The other is splintered and has a hole. The doors have been set up, though, so that instead of just hanging loosely, it looks like someone took them and leaned them so that they wouldn't just be dangling there anymore. And then put some wedges in to make sure that they didn't fall or get blown down. You can see from this courtyard that there is a tower immediately to your left. It's ruined. You can literally look up and see the jagged top of it. It looks like maybe the top third of the tower is just gone. To the north, you can see rubble where a giant chunk of the wall collapsed, probably right out to the moat. In fact, if you went over there and climbed up the rubble, you might be able to see out. To the right, you can see an old disused well, and to the northeast, a wide staircase leading up to the great doors that once would have led inside the moat house. Those doors are just torn off their hinges and lay broken on the floor up there, so you can see the interior of the little bit of moat house that's still standing over there. So basically, to be clear, everything from about here onward, everything from here north and east is indoors. Everything out here, this is all outside, open air. There are numerous arrow slits in the walls, dark on the inside, but you can see arrow slits here, 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 here. Arrow slits here, here, there, right over here, another one here. all looking into the courtyard. And all dark on the interior, so who knows what could be watching from the inside, if anything.
Are there any footprints going? Like muddy footprints heading this way?
Make a perception check.
$16.
Yeah, you can see some boot prints on the ground. Numerous boot prints, about humanoid-sized and shaped, going between those stairs and the gateway where you now stand.
Does it look like what's-his-name's tracks?
That would be more of a survival check. I mean, you're not really a tracker. It looks like human footprints.
Okay. Looks like they went inside. I think.
Do we
Step
want
over here.
Are we going in? Do we want to regroup?
I'll go in.
Ithri wants to have a look and see what's in the tower.
Okay.
So if I move to like here and have a look in.
I am going to go ahead and use Cure Wounds on Draco.
Okay. Go ahead and you can cast that real quick.
Mm-hmm.
That would involve, taking out like some berries and a little bit of mistletoe from your whatever druid pouch you get your components from, a quick prayer, and you kind of throw them into a little cup of water, and as you put that water on his wound, the wound begins to heal instantaneously for 4 hit points.
Thank you very much, Elowen.
You're welcome.
And then I'll start making my way up to the entrance as well, leaning still slightly on my quarterstaff.
Okay.
I'll walk in and stand beside Junko.
I'll walk in and place myself by Cora.
I think E3 will, or E3, Therithiel will stay here. E3, you were walking kind of around that little corner to where the open door to the tower rests. Mm-hmm. The door is, actually, the door is just gone and there's no sign of it. It's clear, like you can see the hinges there. Just what happened to the actual door, who knows? Looking beyond, you can see that most of this tower has collapsed. The interior is dark. There's a lot of debris and rubble on the floor in there, and little bits of early morning sunlight coming down through the dust and cobwebs and rafters.
Is there, like, I can see stairs. Is there, like, an obvious second floor, or is that fallen through? Or...
You'd probably have to go inside to really see that.
Yeah, I'll take one step inside and see
Okay.
if there's anything.
Stepping in and kind of peering
I'd
up.
like to look up before I step in, just to make sure there's nothing, like,
That's fair.
precarious above me.
Make a perception check.
There you go, 17.
17. So kind of peering up, you can see the remnants of what looks like a second floor, though much of it is collapsed and is little more than beams and bits of occasionally raining dust and debris. And perched up there is about a 15-foot wolf spider.
I'm just gonna back out. Gently, slowly.
Cool.
Is it looking in my direction, or is it like...
No, it's just
Okay,
sitting up there.
yeah.
Like when you walk down into a basement and you see a big fat spider just sitting on the floor.
It's like that,
Chillin'?
but it's 3 times the size of me. Cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about Shelob sized.
Yeah, I'm just gonna back out and
What's up?
don't go in there.
Oh, okay.
There's
Why?
spiders. That's what I'm gonna
Spiders?
say. Yeah. And then I'll probably back off like a few steps
Are you an
And,
arachnophobic, E3?
It depends on the scale. Are we checking inside?
I thought we were checking in here first, but
There's nothing. There's no body and no treasure. Just space.
Miss Junko, have you ever seen frogs that large before?
My career had people, not animals.
Did you see the size of the one that grabbed my leg?
It was the size of me,
It nearly took my leg off, Miss Junko.
but it didn't.
I don't like it here, Miss Junko.
If you want,
Just
we
did we
can-
leave earlier?
Yeah, if you
I
want,
know.
on our way out, we can take a leg off of it. Might be tasty.
Good idea.
Get your
Oh.
revenge. I mean, it looked like you cooked it pretty well.
Yes. I was going to eat it, but I thought that was a bit barbaric, so
It's
I
a bit
didn't.
of a Taluna sincere dish. Not here.
Yes, yes. We can proceed, I think.
I will take, if everyone's just sort of like unsure, I'll take the lead and head up. To
I'm
the
gonna
stairs.
I want to see these spiders, so I'm just gonna peek in here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just want to take just a little peek.
Oh.
Well, that's fun.
I'm not going in. I'm just looking, peeking around the edge there.
Okay.
You probably get a don't from Ithri, but
Like
What are you looking
peeking
for?
in. So, to note, E3, when you looked in, it was kind of diagonally placed. Its back was like its eyes weren't looking to where you are. Cora, when you look in, like leaning up, you see its little beady eyes looking right at you.
Is there a door?
No.
Oh,
What's
hello.
inside there,
I'll
Ephraim?
just back up.
the
I'll just
biggest,
whoop back up.
the biggest spider I've ever seen.
You said spiders. You didn't say it was really, really big.
It
I
doesn't
don't
move
know
as
if
you back
there's-
out.
I don't
what?
know that there's only one.
It doesn't come at me, right?
It does not move as you back out.
I think that's like his little home. We should let him be.
Yeah.
I like spiders. Should I have a look too? Or should we?
Mate, we've got other stuff on the way out.
Oh.
Yeah, sure. Let's go. And I'm
Yeah,
just gonna head towards the stairs.
I think he might be a little perturbed that people keep looking in his house, so
I once had a pet spider. He died.
I caught one in my room once and then I put him outside.
So while this conversation is going on, A3 is heading towards the stairs, but sort of like trying to have a look in the arrow slits to make sure there's no glint of an eye looking out or anything like that.
Okay.
I presume nothing. Does anything happen on the way to like here-ish?
No, I'm
No.
gonna stick to this side here.
You can now see a little better the collapsed part of the wall and the debris outside. You can make out some trees. That's about it.
Not the bit I'm interested in.
For just
Well,
a moment, though, you thought you saw something move. Just out of the corner of your eye. Come on, work with me. Through this arrow slit.
I will like make a hand gesture, not even looking at the people to see if they're actually looking at me, but just make a hand gesture towards the arrow slit.
I'm looking
And
towards
then-
you.
And then I'm gonna like sneak up to it. And how are they high off the floor, or is it to go all the way down to the floor, or
It's fairly high off the floor.
is it like above dwarf height?
It's at about the level of where the floor is up here. Actually, no, it'd be above this. It's about 3 feet above the floor here.
So if I can, I want to like walk up to it and tiptoe up. Hang on, I can't see. Is
You
it
might
halfway
need
on the
a
stairs?
leg up.
I can come help him.
I'll just stand. If I can't get into it, I'll just stand like
that.
Well, that's in a wall. I'll push my
What did
back up
you-
against the wall
Like that.
and like motion for someone to look in.
Are you okay, Ifri?
There's someone.
I'll go look.
Or we'll get along this wall here.
Now, mind you, you would all be below the level of those.
Oh yeah, but
Yeah.
directly
Mhm.
under it.
I can see the slit he's
Yes,
talking
you can
about,
see
like,
the
so-
slit. You just wouldn't easily be able to see through it without, like, maybe standing on someone's shoulders or.
I think we've been seen.
Would you like me to help you? To see if you can see inside?
Yeah.
So I come close to him
Okay.
to help him get up and
Okay.
see into the arrow slit.
Okay.
And I'll just do like a hands on the wind. It's not obviously not a windowsill, but you know the
Mhm.
bottom of the slit, and just nose up.
Okay.
No more than that.
So, peeking in there, you actually see that there is a thick tuft of, like, dust and cobweb that's just kind of fluttering in the arrow slit.
Looking like it's been disturbed.
No,
Okay.
just maybe creating a little bit of movement that could have caught your peripherals. Looking beyond, the room is actually empty of any people. Like, kind of peering around, you can make out what looks like some pelts, some stuffed heads in there. Maybe some kind of a trophy room.
There's no one in there now. Let's go in and have a look. It looks clear.
Is
Okay, right behind
anybody,
you.
Do we want to check the other side?
Junko? Are you particularly good at looking for traps?
Normally, yes.
I think perhaps in case our dwarven fellow is still inside, or anybody he may be meeting, it may make sense if we perhaps had a look around for traps before we enter too far.
I will do such thing.
Okay.
Action.
Well, so are you
Investigation?
going to be leading the way then in where you guys are going?
I guess so, yeah.
Well, if you guys are heading up the stairs, I'd probably take Elevin over to the other side of the stairs to see if there's a slit we can look in through there.
There is a slit over there.
Yeah.
And
I move
peering
over to the
in.
other side.
This is my peering.
Yep.
nose, but-
Hey,
Peering
what's
in.
this?
One moment. You can see what looks it's a littered room, also empty. Looks like it might have once been a conference chamber. There's a lot of dirt and wreckage, some tattered cloth that looks wholly ruined. And just as you're about to be like, nothing here, a big hairy black rat kind of scurries into the base of the arrow slit, nearly like right into your face, like it comes to check out like what you are, maybe startling you a bit. Could I have you make, well, how, do you think you would be startled by that, or
It might, like, if it just randomly appears, it's not.
it just
Ifri
like
isn't
scurried
scared of-
into your like right into your face?
Yeah, he's not scared of rats at all, but like this is a bit of a tense situation, so it might be like a
Jump scare.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then let me have you make a dexterity save, since you are kind of balancing on Elowin.
Dexterity save is this guy, I guess.
Which would be over here.
That's 11.
11. Okay, you kind of windmill a little bit and then fall forward and kind of catch yourself on the wall.
Yeah,
But
I'll
you
put
kinda had
hand
a
on,
moment.
Like, I'll put a hand on Ellen's shoulder and be like, "Oh,
Everything okay?
yeah, there's rats. Nothing more interesting." Like,
Oh.
Now, Junko, what were you saying as you came over there?
I was gonna check for traps, but I'm curious what this thing is.
I am
That's
going to
right.
reveal more.
Heck yeah.
Give me a moment.
Can I put Ithri down now?
that wasn't the creepy music I was looking for, but sure.
Yeah, I mean,
Bring me a dream. Oh, is that you're just like hopeful?
Yep.
Actually, I guess I
Also
can
waiting
just
music as he does
go.
this, by the way.
over here.
But you know, copyright stuff, so I can't actually do it.
That is
CGI.
true. Please don't get us copyright strike.
That's why I changed the words.
You are a scholar and a gentle soul. Okay. So I guess I can actually do this too. Give me a moment.
I see big spider webs. I don't know, man.
Oh no.
Yeah, we also
That's
zoom
only,
this in
it's only
maybe a
2
bit more.
squares.
2 squares?
And I'm also going to do this so you can
10
tell
foot.
where the passages continue.
Okay. So then are these like candle holders?
So let me tell you. As you move into this great hall, because this must have once been the great hall, you can see that it was some kind of an audience chamber. There's tattered banners and tapestries still clinging to the walls, destroyed furniture, and heaps of rotting cloth all thrown together in the corners. You can see that this room looks to have been thoroughly searched, sacked, ransacked, and then despoiled for good measure. There's leaves and dirt covering the floor. Muddy, murky footprints coming to and from this door and all of the different rooms and passages. Cobwebs hanging from the walls, the ceiling, bits of moss clinging here and there to the cobblestone. Looking up, you can see pieces of beams and chunks of stone poking through, giving you some indication that the upper stories of this place are completely destroyed and likely impassable to anything larger than a rat. You can see, yes, there are some ruined, probably not really functional anymore candelabras, some torch
Okay.
sconces that have been broken.
I was hoping it was a lever.
Do you want to test it to see if it's a lever?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You give it a tug, and it actually just breaks right off in your hand.
I toss it across the floor real quick.
It
Act like I didn't do
clangs, clatter, clatter, clatter.
It
You see
fell.
a trio of rats run out of that little room to the northwest.
I
They
look at
scurry out
Junko
and then
like,
just kind of run about, checking out the piece of metal and then running back in.
What was
Oh.
that loud noise?
Wait. You said a group of rats, like 3, you said?
Just regular-sized rats.
I'm gonna take some
Regular rat.
rations out and throw them about here.
she's just living her life, man.
Okay.
Just throwing candles and foods at rats.
You sprinkle a little bit of food there. Nothing happens.
I'll throw one of my darts there on top of it to make the noise for them to come back out.
Another metallic clang. Not so loud. I mean, it's like throwing a very long needle on the ground. It's not super loud. Just a little ting. You see a couple of beady eyes and little noses poke out of there. And then about 30 rats swarm out of the room, engulfing the bit of ration that you put there, and just picking it apart. And they remain there for a couple of minutes.
I found
Just
a
searching
trap.
What
Eventually, the
trap?
rats scurry back into the little chamber.
A rat
What?
trap?
What trap did you find, Miss Junko?
Very hungry, they eat us.
You think?
I know hunger when I see it.
I'm kind of hungry.
I'm more worried about.
Have your
Shoot.
snacks, Grandpa.
Okay.
So,
About some jerky.
so if no one else is gonna make a move, I'm gonna do like a Scooby Doo round the door frame, not door frame, the hallway frame,
Mhm.
to Ithri's right. So I'll
Got
just
it.
move here and then do a peek.
Just kind of. Okay.
Step up.
Did you tell us what this thing is here? I can't. The thing by the wall looks like it's got steps on it.
The what?
throne.
Yeah,
The throne.
yeah,
Oh,
there.
yeah, that's a throne. That is absolutely a throne.
Can I go over and investigate that?
Sure.
I like that. I'm like peeking round the corner.
Yeah,
to
I'm-
the
He just
map.
runs through like.
I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna make my way over there and
Don't go kind of panic.
See if there's
expecting the
anything.
rats to, like,
no.
Uh,
I've seen
If they
many
take her-
creatures.
If they take her, they take her.
E3, as you peeked around the corner, you can see a 10-foot wide hallway covered in cobwebs and dust. Some of the doors in this hallway are still standing, such as those here and here. One door is completely missing, such as the one here. Also, I would like to point out to those of you who didn't notice that there is a doorway here as well.
Oh, is that an open door or a closed door?
It is an opening. There's
Ah.
not actually a physical door there. Which is why I remembered it when I saw the missing door here. There's also a missing door right there.
Do you see
Well,
anything, E3?
So a dusty hallway. Is it like, are the cobwebs like filling the hallway in a way that would like mean no one's been through it? Or is it
No.
old?
Just mostly hanging from the ceiling
Okay.
and like the walls. It's a little dark, which is why I didn't fully reveal it, but it looks like there's a much larger chamber at the end of this hall.
But that's not the room I'd looked in before.
No, the room you looked in before would probably be like right here.
Yeah, okay.
Elowin, you were moving across this grand hall to the throne. As you observed, there are like tiered steps up to a dais that the throne sits upon, though the actual throne itself looks like it's seen better days. It's cracked. It was once made from stone. It was not a very comfortable throne. You can see that there was once probably cushioning in it that has long ago been removed. And there's a layer of dust, like just... Well, you haven't really walked up to the chair, I guess, but just on the steps you can see that there's thick layers of dust, and you could run your finger along them. And like looking at it, it's a thick, grimy layer.
Okay, so I'm gonna go up the steps and see if I can see any symbols or any detail to the throne.
Make an investigation check. And by about this point, this is when the rats would start scurrying back into that room. Because I had mentioned they'd been here, they'd hang around to, 22. So, pouring over this thing, you can see that it's not been sat in a long time, of course. But you also, like, in the armrests, you feel slight grooves that kind of lead you to believe there's some indentation in here, maybe some carving into it. And you kind of blow the dust off of it. And you can see that there is a spiral symbol in each armrest that kind of matches what you've learned is the symbol of elemental water. Like a spiraling tentacle.
Would I know more about this elemental water from being druid / old faith?
Unfortunately, no, just because like you were at the very beginning of your tutelage and like
Yeah.
that's kind of probably a large part of what I would imagine like to learn out here.
Yeah.
But I would say you feel as you touch these, you can almost hear distant waves and aquatic depths and leviathan horrors of the deep. But it's all like it's just in your imagination, probably.
Okay. Do I notice anything else about the throne, or is it just the spiral?
Just that. Otherwise, it seems like it was disused. And even the
yeah.
runes, it was likely just adornment.
Okay. Yeah. I go over and back to meet the rest of the group.
Okay. So
Right,
while you
yeah.
were doing this, and while E3 was checking out down that hallway, what was everyone else doing? I know Junko was feeding the rats.
I would like to step up just behind E3, like here.
Would you like me to illuminate this hallway?
No, I think. I mean, Sethwith might be here somewhere, right? Are we still trying to be cautious?
I feel like any noise we may have made outside possibly has given away our possible sneaky.
I mean, yeah, but like, do we want them to know exactly where we are, or just that we might be here?
No, of course not, of course not.
I mean, I'm not good at being sneaky, but I feel like a light is a bad.
No, of course. I see there are other doorways. Should we perhaps check every doorway or proceed down this hallway? What do you think?
I definitely want to check this whole place out, but I don't want to leave this place because this is the only entrance that we've seen. I don't want to leave it empty
Yes.
in case they run out the front door. So I'm happy to go and have a look if you want to keep an eye on the back.
Can I quickly walk here, Tim? Just imagine I'm like on the corner, and then look inside this room that you said was here. This opening.
Yeah, actually, you can
I guess
easily
on the
see
other
inside
side.
there. And while
Yeah.
I'm revealing that, Cora, what are you doing?
She would just be here listening to this conversation. Next to E3.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I would have said it loud enough, not directly speaking to him, but being standing next to him, noticing that he is clearly looking down this hallway.
So, peeking in, you can see that it looks like it was once the staircase to the upper floor. But after a few steps, the risers are just covered in dust, debris, broken wood, heaps of burnt cloth. You can make out the landing at the halfway point, which is completely choked with rubble, and everything beyond that is impassable.
Okay.
There doesn't seem to be anything within this room. It seems like it was the staircase leading to the first floor.
Okay. Cora, I'm going to head down this hallway. If I leave
Okay.
your line of sight, it's not on purpose. Come after me.
Okay.
And then I'm just going to slowly walk down this hallway, looking in every door to make sure there's no sneaky traps.
Yeah.
Okay.
People traps, physical traps,
So
hidden
let me
spiders.
do this.
Death.
You're peeking into this first room?
To start with, yeah. Well, although I saw in there anyway, so I think it would just be a glance,
Very true.
just to make sure nothing's changed. And there's nothing of interest.
Okay. Peeking in, you can see it was indeed definitely a conference chamber. That's a ruined conference room table if you've ever seen one. The dirt and wreckage look it's piled. It looks like a large portion of the upper floor might have crumbled into this room. As you peek around, you see a small rat scurry out of a little hole in the rubble. Runs right up to your boots actually and sniffs. And you kind of, it's up to you. Do you kick it away, or do you just what do you do?
No, I just let it do its thing.
Okay, it starts trying to gnaw on the leather of your boot.
If it nibbles, I'd nudge it a bit.
Okay,
so
it immediately darts away, disappearing back into the rubble.
And I just want to this whole time I'd be keeping an eye out for anything that would suggest recent signs of human activity, I guess,
Okay.
without getting too specific. Can I move down and check the door on the next door along on my side?
This
See
one?
if it's because you said the door was there, but is it ajar?
It is not ajar. In fact, this is the first intact door you've probably seen here, except for maybe the door in the Grand Hall in the north east corner.
If there's a door handle, I will very gently test it to see if it would open.
Okay. Let me see here. Okay. It creaks as it opens, unfortunately. Couldn't really be helped. It's one of those. It's one of those creaking where it seems like it's not, and then it reaches a point where it just kind of makes a loud, terrible. And I would imagine, with how
I'd
quiet
probably
you're
just
trying to be,
turn-
it's like
I'd turn around to Cora and just be like, sorry.
looking inside. It looks to be some kind of ruined bed chamber. There is a canopy bed which has been smashed to pieces, and a dresser, the drawers of which are tossed about. There's some ruined, rotting cloth, and that's about it.
Okay.
Looks like shards of a smashed mirror.
That outline in my brain was a human body. So I'm glad that that's just a bed.
Yeah, it's just a bed.
Cross the hall and check the other door. Same way.
Okay. This one, let's see.
Can I see anything
It opens.
at this point in the room below me as well?
Yeah. Though I'll get back to that after. Let's do this room real quick too. You can definitely see. I'll give you another line.
Okay.
And there's more, but I'm just assuming your attention is mostly on these doors and making sure that there's nothing like actually staring at you in the room. Doesn't sound like there's much life.
I'd be sort of keeping an eye out, making sure that there's nothing attacking from there. But
So, as you push open this door, you can see a very fancy, opulent chamber, maybe like a salon of some kind. Unfortunately, as with all the other rooms in this place, it's ruined. The once expensive furnishings are little more than bits and tatters. There is a wine rack, and you can see there's a bottle still sitting in it. There are some shelves with a lot of broken debris and dust coating them. One of the shelves is just broken. What do you do?
So if there's nothing interesting in there, I'm not going to enter. I'll look back up the hallway. Is both Cora and Dracon like peering down towards me, or?
Yeah.
I am, and when I see you looking, I'm just like, like I give you those. Oh, okay. And she'll like come after.
Yeah, I'll start walking down behind Cora.
Okay. As this is going on, E3, what's your passive perception?
13, I believe. Let
Oh,
me
good,
check.
good, good. Good.
What?
22.
Because as like you turn back, having just signaled for them to start moving, you get a really unpleasant sense. Like maybe there's something
Somebody too.
in that chamber.
Yeah. I farted, sorry.
And as
Dang it,
you
The jerky.
as you shift
Dang it,
your
Glenn.
attention now to the large, wide open chamber to the south, you become aware of something. And mind you, with your dark vision, because it is very dim and dark in these parts, if you guys don't have light sources, it would be disadvantaged with everything. Even with dark vision, though, keeping in mind it's very heat-based, thermal vision, basically. You now become aware of something that has started moving, something very large in the chamber to the south, and you can hear like scales slithering on stone, and two large yellow eyes shift to look at you.
It's
As
back.
you see
I
a
was literally
giant
gonna say-
snake. And that's where we're going to end for tonight. We're going to pause right here.
Oh,
Is it the
no.
same one from before?
It's the
Yeah,
druid.
It's
wanna
the
Is it the Druids one?
I want to fight more stuff.
Oh,
It's 7 o'clock. We've been going for 3 hours now. And we
We
had
had
a
4?
late start. No, I mean 3.
Oh,
We had a late
right.
start and a long break. We'll be back to this, and maybe there'll be 20% more McKnightsy. I'm willing to hear
There's
30.
20.
I'm willing to go up to 30. So
That's what you're willing to do.
I have one question before we finished.
yes,
Does this snake look like it used to be a staff?
you know, it's very dark. It's hard to say. If only you guys had a light source.
Yeah. Imagine I put some light down there, you know?
Yeah, if only.
If
No,
his
no
intelligence is not high, I'm just saying.
I'm never listening to you again. Gonna go on instinct.
Just fine. I'm fine.
You guys had the right idea. I mean, you've been trying not to make too much. Well, I was going to say try not to make too much noise, but then I remembered the loud metal torch bracket you threw on the floor.
The sconce. Yeah.
Look,
roaring like a bear.
Mhm.
Yelling at
The
the
And
fire.
the roaring like a bear and the fire and.
look, now I know not what corridor not to go through, okay? Rats are not fun. Like, they carry disease.
Swarms
That's
are not
true.
fun.
That's true. Hey, no one said. I said swarm. Okay,
said
listen.
swarm.
No one said.
You said the key word.
I said they swarmed.
I mean, 30
What
rats is a lot of
swarms?
rats.
30 rats is a lot of rats.
That's
Mhm.
definitely
I mean,
a swarm.
if they can only do 1 point of damage, that's more than my HP.
Technically,
Yeah.
it would be 32 rats that you've seen thus far. Or, I'm sorry, 35 rats, assuming those
Yep.
first 3 weren't part of the other 30.
Yeah.
So,
More worried about the giant snake than the rats.
really?
You know,
I mean, if only half of them do 1 point of damage, that still knocks me out.
Personally, I would have been more upset and concerned about the big damn wolf spider.
No, he was
I thought
chill.
for sure you were going to walk right in there. When you were like, I want to see, I'm like, you know, sometimes the DM just has to do a little fishing and see what you catch. Oh, you've got to walk into the room if you want to know what's up there.
No.
You were this close, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna take a look first. Well done. You know, you guys are doing pretty good. You guys, so we've seen investigation may not be this party's forte,
No.
No,
Hey.
not at
but you
all.
guys seem
I
pretty
don't know
solid.
what you mean.
You guys are like rock solid at the dungeon delving thing. You guys have handled this thus far brilliantly.
we're fighters, not we're not cops, okay? We're not detectives.
I
Did you do
remembered-
it?
I remembered this
Apart from Cora.
last time when I was talking to Ash. Ava, do you remember this place?
Why would I remember this place?
I told you she
very,
wouldn't.
very first time you ever played D&D, it was this adventure.
Ah.
Your paladin, I think? Wasn't
Yep,
it
you were a
paladin?
paladin, and somebody in their wisdom picked you up while you were dying and ran into a group of bad guys and then died, and both of you died.
There was this campaign when, like later on?
No.
Because I remember we were underground.
Yeah,
Zombies.
it was this building.
It seems a lot
Different?
more ruined. Yeah.
I've changed as a DM. I've updated some things, and also, you haven't gone into the basement yet. But
Remember, I was a cleric?
Yeah, I
Well,
remember
let's-
the basement. Like, I remember the basement, so
you
when
guys,
we get there, I'll know.
you were here for this courtyard and this grand hall, and I believe the snack that Ithri just found.
Nick?
There was no snake.
There
I thought
was
you called it a snack. I'm not going to
Nope.
eat it.
both.
Nick.
SNEK.
There was no
It's some more
snake.
jerky.
It was totally there. It just
Nope. All I remember
snakes.
was there was an ooze that killed Ashley's character, like, immediately.
yep.
And then we ran into some zombies with her next character.
Yep.
And then I was dead and had a falling out and I was done.
I believe your body was used as a weapon by a monk.
It was. Yes, it
Nice.
was.
Wow.
Oh,
sounds
maybe
great.
that's what I should
And
do in this game
I,
since I'm
I
a monk.
thought I was being brutal to frogs. Bloody hell.
Nope.
To
I
be-
got
well-
knocked unconscious and he started hitting zombies with my armored body.
Until he died and both of you were eaten.
Wait, if you're a paladin, does that count as a holy weapon?
You know, if
No,
someone had
you're
tried to, it
canceled.
was first edition, so if someone had tried to argue that, I would have probably heard them out before laughing them off and saying no, but it would have been a good Good question. So anyway, thank you guys for watching tonight. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.